Enough of the NFL.
Devon Achane will take it all the way. 76 yards for Dolphins touchdown.
Burrow, flush to the right. Looking for the back of the end zone. It's Chase again. His third touchdown catch of the day.
Off to throw. High end zone is the catch. Inbounds it is. Josh Reynolds for the Lions touchdown.
Now, here are the guys.
Woo! Happy Monday to those who celebrate, and we're celebrating in a big way. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. It's always a celebration when the NFL season starts to really take hold of the national storyline. I think everybody wakes up now checking on their fantasy roster like 4 days a week. I think everybody now is clued in to which teams look like they really have a chance and which teams are falling further and further out of the playoff picture. We have 5 games in the books. We're looking to close out week 5 here with Monday Night Football, Packers taking on the Raiders, but a busy weekend in the NFL as we get started here. Gentlemen, TD, how you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm all right, man. I'm hanging in there,
Okay.
Rich.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a great weekend of football for my fan base as a Bronco fan.
Yeah.
Although expected.
That is.
Now,
that was a rough one.
Now, on the other side of the glass here, Fletch, a little smirk on his face, a fist in the air. I mean, you barely won.
I mean, the word you're looking for, TD, is dominance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what was on display last night.
And
I love
the 49ers are pretty good.
And Rich, I almost want you just to read word for word what you put in the rundown this morning. I watched you typing it as you came in, and I was like, this is the only take that makes sense.
It was so early this morning. Hang on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do mean this when I say this. We'll start here. We'll start here with what we watched, the last thing we watched in terms of the NFL last night, Niners, Cowboys. The Niners have built a team that can't be measured by normal standards. If they don't win every game this season, they failed. They have built a perfect team outside of injury, outside of circumstance that we can't foresee. The Niners have built a perfectly suited team to take on most or all of these NFL defenses, these NFL offenses. They don't make mistakes. They don't hurt themselves. They play superlative football regardless of the competition. They've seen some of the best defenses in the NFL early this season. I said it 2 weeks ago. I mean it even more so today. You found your franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy. I don't understand how that's even still a debate. I look at him and I see a guy very similar in some ways to Patrick Mahomes, like a missing piece to a high-octane offense. We didn't do this to Patrick Mahomes. We didn't. Year 2, everybody was sold pretty much immediately. As soon as Chiefs got really rolling, we saw how special he was. We saw how much in control he was. And I'm talking about year 2, his first year starting. Brock came into year 2, and there were question marks. I had questions about Brock Purdy. But he started year 2 so strong. He hasn't lost a regular season game yet. The only game he's lost as a starter was the one where his elbow exploded in the NFC Championship game. The Niners standard is win every single game.
Yeah, Rich. I mean, I don't disagree. They should, or at least it looks like they should win every single game. The Brock Purdy question, I don't know why. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why it lives within me.
What more do you need to see?
I don't know. But now when we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we didn't do this to Patrick Mahomes. You are correct, Rich. You are very correct. However, Patrick Mahomes was explosive himself. He was on fire every single game. Brock Purdy seems pretty cool, pretty calm, pretty collected. I don't know why that no matter how often I watch this guy play, I don't know why where I'm like, he's good. I mean, he's real good.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm just telling you, there's something inside.
Alone. No, I know he's not.
There's a lot of people feel the same way you do.
I mean, because watching him with my eyes, I'm like, this guy's great, man. This guy is so cool and so calm and so collected, no matter what the defense is throwing at him. But there's this little piece inside me that's like, I'm waiting for it to break down.
I do know why Travis doesn't feel it yet. It's because of me.
That could be true.
No, it's 100%. Like nationally, I think you hear people on national radio still have the yeah buts when it comes to Brock Purdy. But with Travis, I just think he doesn't want me to get a big head. Too late, bud. Too late.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. That was ship sailed around 5 years old when Ben learned how to speak. And he didn't speak a single word until 5 years of age. Everybody was worried, but
might have been 6.
Ben was a late bloomer.
I don't think it's that, Fletch. I honestly think it's because when you look at the teams across the league and you look at these players across the league that came out of college that were picked first in the draft or, just a couple rounds into the draft, you go, how is it possible that the very last guy picked in the draft was the dude that put it all together for the 49ers?
If Brock Purdy was the 10th overall pick, this discussion would never happen.
I completely agree with that.
Him and Patrick Mahomes, because we could have done, but Travis Kelce, but Tyreek Hill, but at the time, Kareem Hunt, who led the league in rushing. We don't.
Well, here's the but I have, Fletch, is when I'm looking at Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. To me, if I take Patrick Mahomes away from the Chiefs and I put him on any other team, he's still Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
If I take Brock Purdy away from the 49ers, I am not sold that he is still the same Brock Purdy on any other team.
See, that is the I think the core of the debate. And I think it's the debate that works the best with me, with my brain. However, I look at this as kind of the Tom Brady situation, where sometimes the evaluations were somewhat off, or it was just happenstance that he ended up in the perfect culture. But either way, what Brock's done with the 49ers, you can't look past the success. They are pitching a perfect game every single time they go out there. He's just pitch perfect for what they need to get done. Now, Fletch, you are a Niners fan. This is what you watch every single week. I'm watching all these games, and obviously the focal point Sunday Night Football, it's a lot easier to evaluate because there's no other games to distract, but you've seen every single game so far and hyper-focused on those games because this is your team. If you had to evaluate the negatives with Brock Purdy, what are they?
It's pretty simple. I think he does miss deep sometimes. Last night he didn't. He was pretty money on it. But there have been times in his career so far, and there's not very many of them, but when Shanahan does scheme open a guy downfield, and usually it's not Ayuk, they have a great connection. But if it's Debo, sometimes it's Kittle, where downfield past 25 yards, he will miss. And that's happened. It happened twice in the Rams game. That screwed him. But for the most part, man, he is on the money, on time, pressure in his face or not. He's making plays. And last night, excuse me, a little choked up. Last night, that was his best game as a 49ers quarterback. When you talk about what the Cowboys were trying to do, which was moving Micah Parsons all the way around, and he was in the backfield a lot, but he's able to neutralize that with either going short to cutting Debo on like a mesh route or finding Kittle at the 15-yard interval. And him and Ayuk, whatever they have, like I want a best friend like Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. Rich,
it's so fun.
Rich, you were out there on the field, man. You played pro ball. Who would you rather have as a quarterback, a Brock Purdy or a Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, that's not a fair question.
What? Okay. How about playing style?
Well, no, I think the answer is both the same. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's hands down. Look, I agree again with that assessment that I do believe that Brock Purdy would look different in a different system. However, I feel the same way about Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Patrick Mahomes and I say, well, that's the perfect situation for Patrick Mahomes. Does he have as many Super Bowl visits, as many AFC championship wins, as many MVPs, as many Super Bowl MVPs as he does now across his short career? The answer is no, not without Andy Reid. There's a secret sauce that happens between coach and player when it's just, again, there's perfect harmony. There's perfect synchronicity. And that's what's happening with Shanahan and Purdy. That's what's happened with Reid and Mahomes.
I heard your take this weekend when you and Steve were doing the national show during Red Zone Radio. You were talking about Brady and Belichick, who made who. And your argument I thought was perfect is that they make each other.
Yes.
Like you can't have one without the other. And you go back throughout history and it's like every great quarterback, guess what? There was a great head coach there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy Johnson. Everybody says Jimmy Johnson won it. Well, he had Aikman. You know what I mean? Aikman's in the Hall of Fame. You do it with every single coach that we consider great and think about their quarterback.
And look at Belichick now. Look at Belichick before Brady.
Yeah.
Look at Sean Payton now. Look at Sean Payton before Breeze. Like it's The coach
And
makes the
after.
quarterback makes the coach.
Yeah, it's 1 and 2. Like, you need to have both to have something special. You need a culture builder and you need your franchise quarterback. And as soon as they find each other, special things can happen, but they need to find each other. We'll get to the Patriots in a little bit here because
Yikes.
yeah, that is a situation in Foxborough now, and we will definitely break that down. But on the other side of this Sunday night situation, you have the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys have a very weird loss to the Cardinals, but it makes a lot more sense now that you see a lot more of the warts on what seemed to be a perfect picture to start the season with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott looked overwhelmed. Dak Prescott looked like he couldn't concentrate downfield because the 49ers just had a better game plan. And guess what? For everything that people say, TD, about the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, really good defensive coach.
Yeah.
He led that Eagles defense to a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl last year. And part of the reason was because of how special that defense played throughout the season. He takes the head coaching job with the Arizona Cardinals, did a masterful job against the Dallas Cowboys a couple of weeks back. And I think the 49ers have the dogs in the room that they could turn on that film and say, oh, yeah, we'll just do what the Cardinals did. And they did.
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, the Cardinals, shockingly, as we started the season, we thought this is a team that is not going to do anything. They're going to be a laughingstock. The Cardinals, week after week, are kind of an okay team. They put up a fight every single week, and you can say that. I mean, you can't say that about every other team, but the Dallas Cowboys, man, when they got figured out on the defensive side, when the Niners put it to them, Dak Prescott folds. I mean, this is the same story we have every single year. They put pressure on Dak. Pressure as far as, sorry, man, you're going to have to throw for some touchdowns. And it just falls apart.
Ben, just listen to this drive summary for the first half. For the first half, right? You're on the road. It's Sunday Night Football. You want to come out to a hot start. 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt, fumble, 3 and out, punt. Finally scored a touchdown.
And that was the weird Turpin play where they brought the dude off the bench and it was a quick motion. Great play design. I mean, credit there.
3 and out punt, and then they finished the half with the football. And then all the while, the 49ers, they scored 21 points in the first half.
It was Kittle Day.
Yeah.
And that's what's really exciting about the 49ers, right? Is it can be someone else's game every week. It could be the McCaffrey day. It could be the Kittle day. It could be the Debo day. It could be the Ayuk day. And all entwined in that is the Brock Purdy day every single week. But Dak Prescott, TD, to your point, when you say the Niners broke him, or what'd you say? He folds under pressure?
Yeah.
Listen to him in postgame and tell me this doesn't sound like a broken man.
Yeah, well said. 8 first downs to the 49ers, 25 during this game. Their third down efficiency was 4 for 11. Their total yards offensively was less than 200. The 49ers stacked up 421 yards of offense. Dak Prescott looked uncomfortable. He looked, frankly, awful. He turned the ball over 3 times himself with those 3 interceptions. It just was a no good, lousy, bad day on the road for the Dallas Cowboys. And this was a team with huge expectations this season.
Well, boys, we've been talking NFL that whole first 15 minutes or so. So I'll break it up with some MLB postseason talk here. The Arizona Diamondbacks stunned the Dodgers on Saturday night. Clayton Kershaw, did you guys see this? He gave up 5 runs before recording it out.
First time in his career that he was yanked in the first inning. First time ever.
And that single out would be the only out he could manage. He leaves the game after just a third of an inning, becoming the first MLB pitcher in the postseason to give up 5 runs before recording an out. That's a reliever, that's starters, that's everything. Death, taxes, Clayton Kershaw implosion in the postseason. Those are what you can count on.
Am I supposed to be happy about that?
I am.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least he's there. Yeah. You know, that's
no. I get it.
So Diamondbacks look to take a 2-0 series lead tonight in LA. Dodger fans looking to just be at the game past the first inning this time, because if you saw LA after the first inning, that place was empty. So good for the Diamondbacks in game one. Tonight, we got football on San Diego Sports 760. Packers at Raiders. Should be a good one in Las Vegas. And have you guys seen the videos coming out from the Las Vegas Sphere?
Oh my gosh.
So
Does
cool.
that place not look like the sickest spot to watch anything?
Inside and outside.
Yes. And Dana White now wants to start doing UFC fights there.
So I think what we need to do, TD Fletch, we need to speak to the powers that be here at 760, and we need to do a live show remote from the Vegas Sphere.
Well, the other thing
Done.
I was thinking is obviously the Super Bowl's in Las Vegas this year.
Go on.
I wonder, because on the Tuesday night of Super Bowl week, the NFL hosts a media party. I was wondering if there's any chance in the world the media party would be hosted at the Sphere.
Well, it's a big party. It's not that big.
I know. I doubt it.
That's a huge room. But
It's like us and Ross Tucker.
yeah, it's us, Mike Silver, Ross Tucker,
Seren Petro.
yeah, and some podcast hosts. It's like, oh, weird. What's going on here?
I don't know. A few
Logan
years
Paul.
ago, what's the name of the famous chef? Not Ramsey. The other one.
Bourdain.
Yeah, no, not Bourdain. I know who you're talking
Wolfgang
about.
Puck.
Yep.
The other year, like a few years ago in Atlanta, Wolfgang Puck was there serving his duck tacos. So it's big enough for that.
That's true. Well, and Wolfgang Puck, I'll tell you right now, that dude, there was a recipe that he did with a chicken. To this day, I've never eaten poultry and cried. But my goodness gracious, that man knows his way around a kitchen.
Dude, it was pretty wild walking around the NFL media party and you're like just seeing all these little guys tapping. And then Wolfgang Puck hands you a taco.
I hope that we go to the Super Bowl party this year in Vegas and they do hire Gordon Ramsay to just hold 2 slices of bread. And I want Fletch to be the idiot sandwich
Yes.
from Hell's Kitchen. I want him just to slap 2 pieces of rye on his ears and just say, "What are you? What are you?" And Fletch, I'm an idiot sandwich. That's right. That's right. You are an idiot sandwich.
We should carry bread around just in case we run into it.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. We'll just take it. We'll just
Put a
take
little backpack of bread.
headshots of him squishing our face with Wonder Bread.
So speaking of idiot sandwiches, Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. The
Oh,
Jets take down the Broncos.
okay.
And do you know who got the game ball?
Who got it?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
In his little post-game speech to the locker room, he's like, "Thank you, defense, for sacking that guy so many times."
Yeah.
Everybody hates Russell Wilson. I mean, everybody. Sierra may hate Russell Wilson.
Sean Payton was screaming at him on the sideline after that fumble at the end of the game, which was inexcusable.
Oh, yeah, that was completely stupid. It almost looks like he's making rookie mistakes. I mean, throw the ball away, dude.
Dude, I think it's mental. I really do think it's mental with Russ because we've seen the talent that he has, and something is not right with him right now. And he is making rookie mistakes, like you said, TD.
Something is not right, Fletch, and it hasn't been right for a couple years. I mean, since he went to the Broncos, it hasn't been right. And now I question if it hadn't been right while he was still in Seattle. And that's why Pete Carroll was so apt to say, you know what, this isn't fixable. Let's go ahead and move on. I don't know. I don't know if Pete Carroll's a genius. I don't know if it just happened to be that way or if he broke in the move, because when Russell Wilson went to Denver, he was brought in like a god, man, put up on a pedestal.
Well, he was brought in as a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
Is it possible to play yourself out of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this to me now, this past season and 5 games is a major stain, and that's the first thing you see. I mean, you'd almost look at Russell Wilson and go, "Oh, wait, what? He had a Super Bowl? This is crazy."
Well, it also depends how long he plays. Like, how much longer are we going to suffer through this Russell Wilson?
Please, God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, will it
Take old Yeller out back, Travis.
God, come on.
What's crazy, though, is as bad as this game looked, I want to focus on the Jets for a second because the Jets aren't as bad as people want to make them
Great
out to be.
defense.
Yep.
A great violent defense, by the way.
Yeah, they get after the passer. They do things the right way defensively. I look at the Jets and I say, like I said last year, the Jets are a quarterback away from being a real Super Bowl contender.
Dude, Breece Hall is a problem. You watch some of his runs.
170 plus on the ground yesterday. I mean, that guy is a monster. He's a menace. He is trouble. I mean, they have all sorts of weapons on that offense. They need a quarterback, and they went out and got one. He got injured 4 plays into their season. And that's the reason why they're in the situation they're in again.
And that's the thing. I mean, they only got a couple wins here, but they have some life, and they do find a way to win a couple games here and kept it close against the Chiefs. But if this Jets team can stay at around 500, They get towards the end of the season, and Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden figures out a way to heal himself and get back. This is now a Super Bowl team again.
Yeah, there's no question about that in my mind, as long as they can keep these pieces in place, which it looks like they're committed to doing. And Aaron Rodgers is committed to getting back as quickly as possible. Really quick, what the Jets did to the Broncos is what the Commanders did to the Broncos a couple of weeks back. They got after Russell Wilson with 4 and 5 rushers. They made sure to cap the defense so that nothing got behind them, kept every play in front of them, shut down the run. So what you do when you play a lot of bodies close to the line of scrimmage is the game fell on Russell Wilson. And very intelligently, Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, said, all right, defense, I'm challenging you with 4 rushers, 5 rushers at times. Can you get to Russell Wilson? And guess what the answer was?
Yes.
They sacked him 4
TD,
times.
as bad as the Broncos have been, maybe worse over the last couple of weeks is the New England Patriots, who have been handed now Belichick's worst loss ever. Mac Jones now has more pick sixes thrown at Gillette Stadium than Tom Brady did his entire career.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. Tom Brady only threw 3 at Gillette Stadium.
No, they're tied. They're tied. 4 for both of them. Yeah.
It's bad in New England right now, man. Belichick's job security, Mac Jones's job security, and if Mac Jones loses this job, would he ever get another one? I honestly don't know.
Fletch, Rich, I literally in the start of this segment, I started to look up just some headlines for Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And let me just read you some headlines.
Oh, boy.
Will Patriots fire Bill Belichick midseason? Next headline. The grumpy lobster boat captain may motor off into the sunset. Next headline.
That's a great headline.
After being outscored 72-3 in 2 weeks, Belichick says Patriots will start over. Next headline. Bad losses are piling up for the Patriots. Where do they go from here? Should the Patriots' path to relevance include Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick can't blame anyone himself for Patriots' collapse. I mean, there's a million of them.
Can you read the lobster boat one again?
Grumpy. Where is it? The grumpy lobster boat captain may motor off into the sunset.
Is that not the perfect Bill Belichick description?
Oh, they're perfect.
That we didn't know we needed until right now?
Well, what's crazy about all this is you have to have a scapegoat, right? When there is a rough start to a season or a rough season, somebody carries the blame. Last year for the New York Jets, we were just talking about them. Well, it was obviously Zach Wilson. They went out and got Aaron Rodgers, and now they're back to Zach Wilson because of an injury. With the Denver Broncos last year, who got scapegoated? Obviously, Nathaniel Hackett. Russell Wilson stuck around. They bring in Sean Payton. Every single year, somebody needs to carry the blame and walk with it out the front door or to a spot on the bench. Who is it going to be in New England? Is it going to be Mac Jones, or is it going to be the man who spent 20 years plus with your organization and won you all those Super Bowls? I'm fairly certain right now it's Mac Jones, but I'm not sure. And that's weird.
Well, there's 2 questions we have to ask, because Robert Kraft has been quoted as saying, like, Bill Belichick is the Patriots head coach as long as he wants to be. Now, that was a few years ago. Things change, obviously. But do the Patriots have enough respect to Belichick to A, let him finish out the year, and B, start over again? And the second question you have to ask, does Belichick want to start over again?
Yeah, I mean, he's a lifer, Ben. I played for this guy, Fletch. I do think he wants to be there, and I do think he'll have the job until he doesn't want it anymore, much to the chagrin of many Patriots fans who the expectations reasonably high for an organization that's experienced this much winning.
Now, the next question would be, do they tank the rest of the season to try to get one of these quarterbacks in the draft? Because there's a lot of really good ones.
you better buckle up, because there's a few teams that are fighting for the same thing. One of them's the Denver Broncos.
But is New England with Belichick not a more appealing option to a college quarterback than, say, the Chicago Bears?
Well, let me ask you, if you're Caleb Williams and you see the sort of offensive talent around that New England offense, are you thinking to yourself, yeah, that's the spot I want to be?
Depends on Caleb Williams and his respect for coaches. Like, if he looks to Bill Belichick and says, I know that this guy will figure it out with the right guy at quarterback.
Speaking of which, what happens if Caleb Williams ends up getting to bring his coach with him?
That's a Chicago Bears option, who hired Matt Eberflus to be able to fire someone easily.
Yeah, but also if Caleb Williams is as good as Caleb Williams looks to be, I don't know if it matters where he goes. See CJ Stroud for details.
Dude, CJ, we'll get to it.
Okay.
There's so many
There's
things.
so much more.
There's so many things that
we haven't even touched on the Ravens-Steelers game, which was the ugliest game ever until the last 2 minutes.
Yes.
and easily the most important question we have not answered yet today. How do you stop the unstoppable? That's next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
How do you stop the greatest show on surf? We'll talk about it next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Beginning in the NFL, some notable scores from yesterday. The Chiefs took down the Vikings 27-20 on the road. The Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. Eagles improved to 5-0 with their 23-14 win over the Rams. And on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers beat the Cowboys 42-10. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns in the game. Coming up tonight, Raiders hosting Packers in Las Vegas. You're going to hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And in Major League Baseball, the postseason roars on through the divisional round. Dodgers trailing the Diamondbacks 1-0. Game 2 is coming up tonight in LA at 6 o'clock. And in college football, Aztecs had the week off this weekend, but they are getting ready for Hawaii, who they will play on Saturday. Brady Hoke joining the show at 7:30 this morning. $10 says your local Staples store now accepts Amazon returns. Now, when you return an Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next Staples purchase of $30 or more. Exclusions apply. Staples, your new favorite place for Amazon returns.
Yeah, if you're listening to that and you're wondering why we're playing a little Foo Fighters, we got tickets to see the Foo Fighters with the Hives and Alex G Wednesday, August 7th. That's going to be at Petco Park. Get tickets and information right now at livenation.com. But we're giving these tickets away way ahead of time.
Dude, it's damn near sold out already.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is.
These
Yeah,
guys announce a show, and I mean, tickets are snapped up.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Last Friday, I think tickets went on sale sometime this weekend, and now you cannot get tickets anymore in the lower bowl of Petco Park.
I like
So
that.
all you got is nosebleeds, unless
Well,
you listen to us.
Yeah, you can get them here, though. You can get them here if you keep listening. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. You also want to make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app downloaded. Maybe you're getting ready for work right now. Just listen to us on the free iHeartRadio app. That way you hop in your car. Boom. We're right with you.
TD, the question I asked before the break was, how do you stop the unstoppable? And look, there are teams that set a new standard. I think the 49ers this season is one of them. I think they're just playing such, concise, perfect football that it's hard to really compare them to any other team. But then you look at the Dolphins offensively, and with all that speed, is there a way to take them down?
Well, they've been taken down once. The Bills figured it out. So I guess if you were to watch some of that Bills tape, in fact, Fletch and I were just talking about it here in the break. I mean, how do you stop these guys that are so fast? Well, I mean, really the only way is if you've got the same kind of speed or at least close to it on defense where you can keep up somehow, because this team is outrunning the competition, literally outrunning them.
Yeah. They have so much team speed that they're clocking some of the fastest open field runs or runs after catch of any team in the NFL. And as a matter of fact, Tyreek Hill said that he's not even the fastest. They have some Ethan Bonner guy on their practice squad who said he might actually be the fastest person on the team.
You gave Mike McDaniel 4 Olympic sprinters, and they're on the same team. Like I was watching that game with a buddy, and we were sitting on the couch, and he said, "I wonder if you took A-Chain, Mostert, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle and put them in a 4x100 relay. Do you think that team could make the Olympics?" And I was like, yeah, they probably could.
Well, and then you think about Chase Claypool, and a lot of people are like, well, why did they trade for Chase Claypool? Well, if you remember, he's got speed. Like Chase Claypool, I forget what his 40 time was, but it wasn't slow. Let me tell you that right now.
Look at that. Look at that link I just posted there in the go ahead.
Go ahead. 4.42. Like, so if you want blazing,
Mike McDaniel doesn't want anything over a 4.3. Come on.
I mean, but that's blazing fast for a man his size. That's what's built this team is offensive team speed.
I just put a link in the rundown there of the fastest ball carriers so far this season. I mean, look at some of these numbers. Tyreek Hill is running 22.01 miles per hour across the field.
He would get ticketed in my neighborhood.
Right.
Everyone on this list, outside of maybe 2 people, are Dolphins.
Yeah. Correct.
That's the top 10.
Aaron Jones, let's see, Rashid Shaheed, Marvin Mims are the only names in the top 10 other than Miami Dolphins
and
players.
They're 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. That's outrageous. 70% of the fastest ball carriers, whether it be in the run game or in the passing game, are on the Miami Dolphins, and Tyreek Hill owns 3 of those top spots. So understood, Devon A-Chain has 2 of them. It's absolutely absurd. Okay, so the Giants, they fell into the classic trap. they said, just overall, we're going to try to cap what the Dolphins want to do against the deep part of the field. They didn't do a particularly great job of it, but we're going to try to do that. And they didn't take away any single player. Like, they got aggressive, and I thought it was smart because you have to at certain points with the Dolphins to get aggressive against them, but they got overly aggressive. And I really think Tua is too smart to play those games with. He knows where his hot reads are. He knows where to go with the football when he faces pressure, and he gets it into those players' hands. And if you put Tyreek Hill in single coverage, if you put Raheem Mostert or A-Chain out of the backfield in single coverage against a linebacker, they are going to roast those players.
Well, the one Tyreek Hill play where it was kind of a in-breaking route and then he kind of swerved his way up the sideline like we saw him do with the Chiefs a bunch of times, they were like playing bump and run coverage on him. That doesn't work on Tyreek Hill, where the defender was literally right up next to the line of scrimmage with Tyreek Hill, and he didn't have a ton of backside help.
It can work, but bump and run is just a technique that a defensive back uses.
Right, but it was bump and gone.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But if you're playing zone coverage, it can work. The problem is if you're going to blitz him at all, it means you're light somewhere in coverage, which means that the zones are much wider and more open, which was the case on that play. Tyreek Hill can get to zone spaces faster than any other player in the NFL. And then he knows when to throttle down. It's not just about speed with him. It's also about timing and also having an impeccable awareness of the defense and what coverage they're in. And he's a smart enough player to expose you.
Yeah. And one of the biggest problems that the Dolphins had last year was Tua getting hit. And I mean, with this setup at the moment, it's kind of like, you sure you want to send an extra guy? You sure you want to send one more there and leave that field open for Tua to make a play?
And the risk of Tua getting hit is obviously something Mike McDaniel spent a lot of time on this offseason, and I think he figured out the best way to not get Tua hit is to have a deadly run game and have an A-Chain. And so, like, the defense has to respect the fact that A-Chain or Mostert can rip off a 70-yard run at any time because of how fast they are. So now the defense isn't as aggressive with the blitz. It's fun to watch this Miami team.
And then you look at the other side of the docket, the 1-4 Giants after this loss to the Miami Dolphins. It is an absolute misery for Daniel Jones. He's been sacked 16 times in less than 2 games. Ooh. He was yanked out of the last game mercifully in the fourth quarter. He was pulled from this game. This with a neck injury he suffered during the game. He was sacked 6 times in this game, 10 times a week ago, 7 days ago, less than that. On Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. He's been sacked 28 times this season.
Lord.
There are NFL teams who will finish the season hovering somewhere around 30 sacks on the year. He individually has already experienced it. The Giants are on pace to have their quarterbacks, because it hasn't only been DJ, sacked 102 times. If they keep going at this rate, this is a despicable performance by their offensive line.
Rich, it feels like they went, hey, Danny Dimes, we'll pay you $40 million if we could just beat the absolute hell out of you next season. And he went, all right.
Yeah, I mean, they have no.
You said 40 with a 4?
Yeah.
That's 40 million, right? Okay, well, I'll be there. As it turns out, I'll be there.
I do it. I can buy an F-16 for like $100 million. So in a couple years, I'll have an F-16.
There's a lot of people who are still blaming Daniel Jones. In fact, in this building, there's a huge Giants fan that every time I put out a tweet watching these Giants play about him, he comes to rushes to this. Oh, Daniel Jones can't play. It's like, yeah, but who could? Who could? Daniel Jones is under siege. There is no way you could possibly complete passes or read a defense if you're under pressure as often as he is. It's not just the sacks. He's also getting hit on plays where he actually gets the ball out. He's under pressure a lot of these plays. And then does he make his own mistakes? Yes. Sometimes there's a blitz look and he misses a hot. There's things that he's doing wrong too. I don't want to put all the blame on the offensive line, but the majority of the blame is on the offensive line. They're one of the worst units in football, and they got absolutely exposed in back-to-back weeks.
Real quick, Rich, TD, the Ravens-Steelers game, it was a total AFC North bloodfest. Both these teams played ugly football at times. The defenses were both electric. But at the end of that game, the Steelers win with a play down the sideline to George Pickens. Matt Canada in the booth, as everyone else erupts and goes crazy, Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, had zero reaction, almost looked mad.
Let's get to that a little bit later on, because there's some deeper thoughts about Matt Canada, offensive coordinator, about Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Steelers, about the Ravens and what the Steelers were able to do to the Ravens. Can it be replicated? We'll get to that soon. But what I want to talk to you guys about next is an unexpected but very expected blow up in the MLB postseason. That's next. But before we run, I want to talk to you about my feet. Oh my God, these feet, they feel so much better since I discovered the Good Feet store. The Good Feet store has these arch supports. You just slide them into your shoes and you walk around. And days later, literally, that was my experience. Days later, my back pain started to melt away. My knees felt maybe 10, 15 years younger. I remember on the other side of my playing career, I had all these bumps and bruises left over from the career, the back pain, the knee pain, especially the hip pain started coming on. I'm like, well, that's it. That's just what I got to live with, right? Well, no, wrong. I thought there was no hope. There is hope. Go to the Good Feet store. They have these expert trained individuals who work at every single one of their 200 plus stores in the United States and overseas. You can try before you buy. They'll fit you perfectly. And if you have any questions, you can call them anytime. They keep your account open and live. You can talk to them about your arch supports. You could go back and have them adjusted. In fact, they reached out to me after my appointment with them and they're like, how's it going? I was like, who's this? And they were like, oh, it's us. And I said, oh, good to hear from you. No, everything's fine. Just lose my number because this is the best my back's felt in years. And it still feels great. Go out golfing, walking around SeaWorld with the kids. Wherever I am, I got those arch supports with me, and it's really helped my back health. So if you are like me and you're struggling with some lower body joint pain, get to the Good Feet store today. The unthinkable, but very thinkable, happened again. That's next. Yeah, if you're listening to that and it sounds familiar, it's the Foo Fighters, and they're playing San Diego. And you could win a pair of tickets to see the Foo Fighters with the Hives and Alex G Wednesday, August 7th. That's going to be at Petco Park. Tickets and information available at livenation.com. These are huge tickets. Dave Grohl, the whole gang out there. Going to miss Taylor on the drums. Tell you that much. No, not Swift. Hawkins.
Oh.
Doesn't his son come out and play at a lot of concerts now?
Dude, his
he did at the the
memorial.
Yeah, memorial, the tribute. It was cool, man.
It was very, very cool.
His son rocks.
Loved Nirvana. Loved the Foo Fighters. And I thought that Hawkins and Grohl, like there was just this cool vibe between the two of them because there was no ego. There are times where Grohl gets on drums and Hawkins will take like a siesta,
right.
Maybe he'll pick up rhythm guitar and just kind of strum away and play it badly, but nobody cares because like it's a band. It's
rock
truly,
and roll, man.
dude. It's rock and roll. And so if you're interested in seeing the Foo Fighters, we're going to have an opportunity for you coming up on this show and for the rest of the week. Looking forward to that. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hollow Scream. You can go visit all the twists and turns, special effects lurking around every corner with terror-filled houses, scare zones, and haunts, death-defying drops with ride after ride in the dark. If you're interested in bringing the family, we got 4 tickets for you. So we're going to send you to SeaWorld today as well. But we have to discuss this issue that has been haunting a certain player who will be in the Hall of Fame one day, his entire career. And the narrative, I mean, look, sometimes narratives are stronger than actual truths. And sometimes the narrative is the truth. Clayton Kershaw, meltdowns in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things will forever be intertwined because it's really like at a 50 or 60% clip now. 50 or 60% of the time he plays in a playoff game, he absolutely sucks.
Rich, it's inexplicable how this happens because if this wasn't the case, if he didn't have all these postseason meltdowns and he was just Clayton Kershaw throughout his whole career in the postseason, like you'd be talking about him going down as maybe the greatest pitcher of all time, period.
Yeah.
He's already talked about that way with regular season, but in the postseason, I mean, it's inexplicable how he just shrivels. And now he got a little bit of credit back because a few years ago, he fell apart against the Astros while the Astros were cheating. So he gets a little credit back from that, but not much because you see games like Saturday night. And I was out in Pacific Beach and there were a bunch of Padre fans who were around me, tons of Padres hats, jerseys, everything. Like that place was roaring when Clayton Kershaw was getting roasted. So Travis, you asked earlier, should I be happy about this? Yeah.
The
The more the Dodgers suffer, the better.
Fletch, what do you think, though? You think it's in his head now? It's in
How
his
could
head.
it not be?
So whenever he goes to playoffs, he's going to fall apart. Dodgers are saying he's going to pitch again versus the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, and he should. And he should. Look, it isn't all bad. He's 13-12 through his postseason career with an ERA of 4.49.
COVID season, he was pretty good in the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the crazy thing about him. You look at his career ERA, 16 years in Major League Baseball. He's a 2.48 pitcher. So, I mean, something goes very wrong. And like you just said, TD, I think the thing that goes most wrong is come the postseason, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's a story that has been repeated so many times to him that I don't think he has real faith in himself going out there and performing. This is the first time in his entire career that he's been yanked in the first inning. He didn't even finish the first inning before giving up 6 earned runs and took a seat on the bench.
This is the first time in Major League Baseball history in the postseason that someone has exited a game or given up 5 runs before recording an out. And that's relievers, that's starters, that's everything.
Yeah, that's bad news if it's something that's in your head.
It's crazy that Kershaw, it's almost the complete opposite of like a Madison Bumgarner. Like you remember those years in San Francisco where Mad Bum, he was a good regular season pitcher, but he wasn't great. Madison Bumgarner has a World Series MVP because of what he did in the postseason. Like it's weird that there can be flip-flops like that. And if I'm a Dodgers fan, which thank God I'm not, I would way rather have the dude that's going to perform in the postseason than the regular season.
Thank God I'm not. All this history of losing.
Yeah.
In the postseason, yeah.
Well, true, but at least they're there every year. That's something. That's definitely worth something. But no, if you look at Clayton Kershaw over the course of his career, I mean, I'm talking about game logs in the postseason. This dude, he's been sensational at times. I mean, he's had full postseasons where everything's gone right for him. But the problem is sometimes it goes wrong and sometimes it goes really, really wrong. And those blowups are so costly when you look at averages and when you think about what exactly it means in terms of his legacy. He will go down as one of the greatest pitchers to ever start and take the ball for a team for the entirety of his career, because he'll retire a Dodger, almost definitely there. But it also tagged next to that will be an asterisk that said, except the postseason, except we just couldn't depend on him all the time in the postseason.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. It's Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, rolling through a Monday. And over the weekend, man, I was busy. I was out running around. My wife and I running all over the place. I was worried I was going to blow it here on the diet, boys. But I was dialed in. The coaches and staff at SDFatLoss.com haven't just helped me lose nearly 25 pounds in a month. Woo! Love that money. No, they've taught me how to eat, man. You heard me say it. I've done the fads. I've tried to drop pounds on my own and just eat healthier. I failed. That's why I needed the coaches from SDFatLoss.com. I needed the accountability. I needed someone to actually walk me through what I should be doing and the correct way to do it. And at SDFatLoss.com, they've been doing it, and the pounds, they've been flying off. I feel better. I sleep better. I can move around. My body doesn't ache. My joints don't hurt. I have more energy. I actually enjoy going places. And all the clothes that have been sitting in my closet collecting dust because I refused to throw them away because I knew that one day, and I use air quotes, I would fit into those clothes. They're fitting again. And it feels great knowing I'm doing something for my family, taking care of myself. With SDFatLoss.com, there's no exercise required. You don't have to count points. You don't have to get a shot every day. Nah, you just eat food that you actually would like to eat. So schedule your free consultation right now. SDFatLoss.com. Start your weight loss journey today. We'll do it together. SDFatLoss.com. SDFatLoss.com.
I absolutely love it. We're all doing it alongside TD. It's working for us as well. SDFatLoss.com. If you want to lose some of those stubborn pounds that you plan to put on this winter, along with the stubborn pounds that were left over from last winter. We were in that boat too.
Left over from COVID.
yeah, dude. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. The pandemic really took me off the round. I'm going to blame everything on COVID-19
exactly. For the rest of my life.
Dude, it wasn't the COVID-19. It was the COVID-40.
Oh,
pounds.
Without a doubt.
Got it. Yeah.
I know people at work could be like, around the office, they'd be like, I gained 20 pounds. I'm like, yeah. Me too.
Rookie numbers.
Twice.
That's light work. You need to get that
up. All right. How do you fix everything during a football season? I know. Go on a Hawaiian vacation. Just kidding. It's a business trip for the Aztecs. That's coming up. We'll check in with Brady Hoke, San Diego State's head coach, on the other side. Also, back to the NFL. A bruising in Baltimore and a solution in Steeltown. We'll discuss up next.
Hour 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Mercedes-Benz. In the NFL, some notable scores from yesterday. Chiefs beat the Vikings 27-20 on the road. Jets took down the Broncos 31-21. Eagles improved to 5-0 with their 23-14 win over the Rams. And on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers take down the Cowboys 42-10. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns in the win. Coming up tonight, Raiders hosting the Packers in Las Vegas. You're going to hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. In Major League Baseball, the postseason roars on through the divisional round. Dodgers trailing the Diamondbacks 1-0 in the series. They play game 2 tonight in LA at 6. And in college football, Aztecs getting ready for Hawaii this Saturday after their bye week. The head coach of the Aztecs, Brady Hoke, will be joining us coming up in 30 minutes. What makes a Mercedes-Benz EV different? Electric is what gets you there, but Mercedes is what moves you like no other automaker can. The vehicle is all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Monday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you.
Finger gun.
This glorious NFL Monday. We're looking forward to Monday Night Football. We got Raiders, Packers. That should be a decent game. Jimmy G is back. Jordan Love is back. We're going to have it right here on San Diego Sports 760, the home of Raiders football. You'll hear Rams games here. You'll hear Chargers games here. You'll hear Cowboys games here. Sometimes we'll even broadcast Fletch's Niners on this station.
You did last night.
Oh,
yeah. Cowboys and Niners.
Definitely did.
We played the sad broadcast on this station.
During the break, Rich and I were in the kitchen. You were making coffee. What kind of coffee is this?
Dude, I don't know.
Is it the Drunk Monkey?
I don't know. It kind of tastes like an ashtray.
Yeah. The one thing you can count on at iHeart San Diego is we have consistently some of the worst coffee ever made on the planet.
You know?
And it's not because
Well, no. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not the coffee. I don't think.
No, I don't think
it's Curtis.
Somebody. Yeah, who's Curtis?
Curtis
even?
is the machine.
Is the machine.
Oh,
Yeah, something's wrong with Curtis.
Well, it's either that or it's user error. Someone around here who likes to make the coffee does a terrible job making the coffee. I don't know what's wrong with it.
That's office buildings everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everywhere I've ever worked has terrible coffee for their employees.
But here's the thing. I could drink sludge as long as it's caffeinated, and I'm very happy with it. This is ostensibly bad. I mean, it is.
You are going to be ecstatic over this.
It's so disgusting. All right, listen. What isn't disgusting is the play of the Houston Texans. We all forecasted Houston was going to stink out loud this year. And boy, howdy, have they done anything but. Went toe-to-toe with the Falcons. Desmond Ridder in 5 games has only put together one performance. I should say in 4 games, his first 4 games, only put together one performance that was even serviceable. He's kind of stunk out loud for 3 weeks straight.
He was fantasy god yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday, he was incredible. The Falcons hosting the Texans. CJ Stroud, 2nd overall pick. Why are we talking about the Houston Texans? Because nobody else is. Why are we talking about CJ Stroud? Because he's not getting enough respect. Have you guys seen the numbers?
He's amazing.
He's incredible.
He's the only quarterback out of that rookie class. Anthony Richardson, at times, it looks like he belongs, and not anymore. He's hurt. But CJ Stroud looks like this is year 3 for him, and it's year 1. Nothing is too big for him. He's making plays with his feet. He's throwing over 300 yards in like every game. He's made relationships with wide receivers that none of us had really ever even heard of before, or at least given a ton of thought to.
No.
And now all of a sudden the Houston Texans have a, wait for it, high-powered offense.
It's weird.
When did that was not on the bingo card for this season against the Falcons defense that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and it would take me a second to name people on the Houstons. On the Texans. On the Houstons.
Before the season, I couldn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, still, it's only a handful.
Damian Pierce, Nico Collins.
Right.
Collins, is it N or M?
N.
Yeah, Nico.
But again, who the hell is a Tank Dell? But he's somehow making him look like a stud. Nico Collins, He's been in the league for 3 years. He hasn't figured it out until he met CJ Stroud, who, by the way, like failed the Wonderlick. Everybody was talking about him how, oh, this guy's brain dead. He's going to get everybody killed in Houston.
He looks pretty damn smart to me, man.
He does to me, too.
Charles Davis was spot on. Remember, we had him on a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, I was like, Charles, when the draft was first, like we were first starting to talk about these quarterbacks, you had CJ Stroud first, and then obviously information started coming out that the Panthers were going to go Bryce Young. But the Panthers got to be looking at this like we got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because we have a guy who looks like a child out there behind our offensive line, while CJ Stroud is out there making plays every week for the Texans.
Yeah, 20 for 39, 249 through the air, touchdown, 0 picks. Now, Desmond Ridder got on a heater, so obviously they end up winning. Bijan Robinson, by the way.
Fantastic.
For the Falcons, it's hard to describe Bijan Robinson if you haven't seen him play at the NFL level yet. And I know it's the Falcons, and I know they're usually buried in that early slate of games, and there are only 6 actual games being played at the 10 o'clock window, so you had a better chance maybe of seeing it. But if you get a chance, watch the Falcons, watch Bijan Robinson. He's bored. He's bored. He's so good at football that he's actually trying to do, like, there was a point where he caught a ball with one hand. He was in the middle of making somebody miss while he was still catching the football, and changed his mind about putting the ball behind his back in the middle of juking. I was like, what is this? NBA Street 2K? This doesn't make any sense what we're watching.
We were all talking about those aliens that Mexico claimed to have found, you know, the little ET looking things.
Yeah, which, by the way,
Bijan Robinson is the alien. He's from a different planet.
They did x-rays on the little alien bodies.
Yeah.
And they confirmed that there are skeletons inside them. And they also confirmed that they weren't just put together by someone.
So they are aliens?
We don't know. We don't know.
Dude, the truth is out there.
Yeah.
There's no way that when we do find actual aliens, that movies got it 100% right. And those things look like E.T.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Like, there's no way we got it right.
Hold on. So part of the reason that movies portray aliens the way they're portrayed is because of what people have said they've seen. The drawings, the grays, you know, with the big heads and the big eyes. I still don't know how they would manufacture one of these flying saucers with 3 very long fingers. I mean, you couldn't even hold a screw. How are you going to put together this machine?
Ask Steven Spielberg, because apparently he nailed it on the head.
Maybe at some point you don't need to. Like, maybe there have been advanced societies where robots do everything. So we just shrink down in size. Like, we just become these little flesh bubbles with tiny little skeletons, and we just operate little drones.
Possibility. Or there was some, nuclear holocaust that occurred. It forever changed DNA in humans. We became these little human grays, and then now they have to travel back in time to find humans in our time period that they can then take to the future to harvest, so our human race before the nuclear problem can build these spaceships.
You know what? You just reminded me. We have to go back in time to talk about the international game because nobody watched it. Nobody watched it.
Finish this first, because I'm sorry I even brought up the Mexican aliens. All that was to say that there was 2 5-yard gains in a row from Bijan Robinson that were 2 of the most impressive 5-yard gains I've ever seen.
Yeah. He'll make everyone miss, and sometimes, like you said, on the stat line, it'll be like 5-yard reception from Bijan Robinson, and you're like, yeah, but I watched that reception. That wasn't like anybody else's 5-yard reception.
5 people missed tackles on him. The Minnesota Vikings haven't had a single broken tackle on a run play this season.
Get the hell out of there.
Bijan Robinson did it. That's what I said.
What?
When I saw the stat yesterday, I was like, that's not possible. And then I looked it up. It's real.
So
really? They have not broken a single tackle on the ground this season.
Yesterday in the Vikings game, when they kicked that first field goal, the stat was, this is the first points the Vikings have put on the board in the first quarter this season.
The New York Giants had something like that too.
What?
The New York Giants scored their first half touchdown this season
this
week, and it was a defensive score.
I know we're bouncing all over the place here, but the Houston Texans, the over-under start of the season was 6.5. We all took the under.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn it is right, because they look like they're going to win half their games this season if they keep playing the way they have. CJ Stroud is special. He's making anonymous players around that offense look good. I mean, again, offensive line injured consistently. Every single week, it's a new guy starting in a new spot on the offensive line. Rookie head coach. First year OC. Do you know the name Bobby Slowick? Yeah, Nobody did. Okay. He worked with the quarterbacks for a couple of years in San Francisco. He came with DeMeco Ryans when he took the job in Houston, and nobody had any expectation. CJ Stroud, worst graded Wonderlic in the draft, second overall pick. A lot of people thought the Texans were going to struggle this year. They're doing anything but. They beat the Steelers, who then laid it on the Ravens, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But
and Bijan Robinson's an alien. Okay, back in time, Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags, talking about laying it on a team. Trevor Lawrence, 25 of 37, 315, 1 touchdown. And then you look at Travis Etienne. If you had him on your fantasy football team, you woke up smiling because that game was over before you got out of bed and you won the day. You won the day.
Yeah, and those who live in Jacksonville are even saying our team should move to London. Yeah,
they play better out there.
They play better.
I mean they just had the Buffalo Bills out the gates. It really wasn't much of a game. The first quarter, the Jags scored 11. The Bills answered in the second. But it did feel like the Jags the whole way. It was the Jags the whole way.
So Charles Davis used this phrase when he was on our show last week. He talked about the pendulous nature of the NFL. Like, how can the Buffalo Bills go from looking as good as they looked against the Miami Dolphins to looking as bad as they looked against the Jacksonville Jaguars? And it wasn't all bad. Like, the Jags, I thought, just played a better game and outplayed them. But you look at the Jags, a couple weeks ago, they had a pretty inexcusable loss. I can't remember who it was against. But it's just the swings of the NFL. Anyone can beat anyone.
It was against, oh gosh.
It was right before they went to London. I can't remember.
Oh, the Texans.
It was against the Texans.
Yeah. It was CJ Stroud.
It was CJ
Full
Stroud.
circle.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Talk about going full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, to your point, I think that was a wake-up call. I really do for Jacksonville because they had lost, I believe, their opener before losing to the Houston Texans. And so they picked it up against the Falcons. And then this game on the road, you can't even call it a road game for them. They were at home in London. The Bills, quote unquote, were the home team out there. It's not true. Jags play twice a year and have for a half decade now in London. It's where I think Shad Khan wants the franchise to be, but can't do it yet because they haven't figured all that out internationally. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson, that is a real problem for opposing defenses. And if Travis Etienne becomes what he was at Clemson at the league level, like we were just talking about Bijan Robinson, he looks like Texas Longhorns Bijan with the Falcons in the NFL. Travis Etienne, people forget because he was injured. He had the ACL his rookie season. He was one of the premier backs coming out of that draft.
He was amazing.
He was amazing.
And it's not just the ACL, but even that season before the ACL, he was having nagging injuries with his calf, I think, or maybe his hammy. But that's kind of been his career so far. But in games where he's 100% healthy, he looks different from everyone else on the field. And that was the case against Buffalo, where he just looked a little faster or a little jukier than everyone else on the field. And like wiggly, I think is the right word for him, right? It's like his whole body's kind of moving.
You know how many total rushing yards the Bills had?
No, I don't. I didn't look at it.
45.
29.
Jeez Louise.
So this, I believe, is becoming the prescription against the Bills. Put the game in Josh Allen's hands, and eventually he'll make a mistake or multiple mistakes.
And by the way, of the 29 rushing yards, 14 of those were from Josh Allen.
Yeah, well, he was running for his life. Well, we've been talking about it all day long, so we might as well review what we saw yesterday. We just mentioned it. Jags being hosted by the Bills. I say that tongue-in-cheek out in London. They take them down 25-20. Texans, Falcons. Falcons win this one, but we just talked about it. CJ Stroud had a game, but 21-19, the Texans fall to the NFC South Falcons. Lions beat up on the Panthers 42-24 in Detroit. Jared Goff looks like the truth out there in Motor City. Colts took on an AFC South rival and the Titans, 23-16 win there. Anthony Richardson hurt himself in the game. What else is new? Shoulder x-ray yesterday was negative. They're giving him an MRI. We'll find out what the results are probably sometimes today.
The AC joint, which could be like up to a month.
AC joint sprain in the throwing shoulder, not good. It's going to be Minshew mania out there in Indianapolis. Giants got absolutely steamrolled by the Dolphins, 31-16 lost there. The Patriots got shut out 34-0 by the Nolan Saints. And then the Steelers, 17-10 victory over AFC North rival, the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, they left the game in his hands and he just couldn't get it done. We'll get to the rest here along the course of the show, but unbelievable job by the Steelers. I've been teasing it. We got to get to the Steelers. But first, do you guys want to go to Sunday school?
Yeah, I would like you to take me there. Take me to Sunday school. Fletch, can we bring up the hymnals?
Yeah, we need some God. Back to Sunday. What do we got today? Let's give this a listen.
What are we listening to?
Gospel, jazz music, saxophone instrumental. I'm into it.
Very sexy.
Yeah, no, I'm into it as well. You have chosen the weirdest church music I've ever heard in my life.
Everyone's church is different.
This is back-to-back weeks where you played music. Either it sounded like last week, it sounded like we were at a Mexican wedding. This week, it sounds like we're about to light some of those choir candles and get busy.
Or I'm about to watch the Cosby Show or something.
It's like ABC Family theme songs. Yeah. It was like Seventh Heaven's on right now.
I just almost fired coffee.
Seventh Heaven, that's our church music.
Seventh Heaven, every time I look in your eyes.
I used to come home from school and my dad would be home watching Seventh Heaven.
Just crying, tearing up.
So take us to Sunday school, Rich.
All right, yeah. Where do you guys want to start? You fire away. I'll give you what I saw.
Let's start with last night. Dallas, the Cowboys. They are facing a 3rd and 2. They're on their own 10-yard line. Fred Warner stacks Dak Prescott, forced the Cowboys to punt from their own 4-yard line. It sounded a little something like this, Rich.
Hearing that play being played over sexy, jazzy choir music, nothing better.
No, the NFL should have a live jazz band the entire game.
Okay, so this is an interesting play to look at because this is very instinctual by number 54 of the San Francisco 49ers defense, Fred Warner, who, by the way, is a San Diego dude. He's the whole player in what's man coverage for the 49ers. You got a bunch of receivers running these crossing mesh patterns in the middle of the offensive formation. And what I mean by whole player is he's just free to read the quarterback's eyes. So he's watching where Dak Prescott is looking. Do I hear birds chirping?
There were birds chirping.
It's unbelievable.
Were there birds chirping at the end of that?
Yeah. I hope this is just an intermission and it continues on. God, I love this. So Fred Warner, he's watching where Dak wants to go with the football. He's staring down CeeDee Lamb. And so what he does is he runs in front of CeeDee Lamb on his crossing route. And then Dak doesn't know what to do with the ball. He's like, oh my God, that's who I wanted. And then Fred Warner leaps, comes out of coverage, comes straight downhill, tackles him at the 2-yard line. And the Cowboys are forced to punt with their heels on the end line.
Now, is it pretty unique to have a middle linebacker that literally isn't involved with the play calls? Because he really, like, I feel like Teddy Bruschi used to do this, maybe Luke Kuechly used to do this, where they are just free. And it's like it's their idea or decision on the field to decide where they're supposed to be going.
It's not unique. It happens a lot if you have a special coverage player who can also stop the run. The Steelers used to do it with Palomalu. They used to do it with Ed Reed in Baltimore. You just mentioned Teddy Bruschi. These are a lot of older names, but Fred Warner, absolutely a player that can be trusted to do things like that.
So now last night, like what happened with the 49ers, it looked a lot like how Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman used to do it because Fred Warner is more the finesse. Like even he lays a hit when he hits someone. But Dre Greenlaw was the other guy who was the real hammer. And that's fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll actually give you another example. Cam Chancellor as a box safety, they used to let him. What you'll see a lot of defenses do, and they usually specify, actually Milano, who just got injured for the Buffalo Bills, but he is one of those players. No.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. But I think they're related. He's a great coverage backer, but also a thumper in the run game. And you can have him do some of those spy things. That's basically what Fred Warner was on this play. He was a roving spy. You're not as worried about Dak the runner as you are other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes even. But you give a guy like that some latitudes, he'll make plays for you. He gets a sack on 3rd and 2 there.
Warner last night, sack, interception, and forced fumble.
He
had all three.
And then, by the way, complimentary football. He gets that sack. The Cowboys somehow get that punt off, and then one play later, Kittle's in the end zone. And so it's a 7-point swing, and it all starts with Fred Warner. What else do you guys got?
Rich will go to a game or a play that was actually redone on Sunday Night Football by the Niners, but the Detroit Lions had it first. And Ben Johnson, who you've been giving a lot of credit all year, he was in his bag, as you said on Twitter.
Yeah, I love this play. So you missed it there because the smooth jazz covered up some of it, but it starts out looking like
it's like Thanksgiving.
It really does. Yeah. So the Lions were in something that looked like a swinging gate slide protection where they were sliding to the right and they had somewhat of a run stance when they were doing that to try to suck up the Carolina linebackers. And then the backfield action suggested Montgomery zone left, right? He was going to carry the ball off tackle to the left side. He tosses it to Mosley, who tosses it back to Goff, who just fires it down the field to their tight end, who snuck out after feigning a block at the line of scrimmage. So this was what was setting up to be a double reverse and then back to the quarterback, threw it down the field to his tight end. Like you just said, Ben Johnson, I mean, he's starting to play with his food.
They had a play later in the game where it was a direct snap to David Montgomery, but Jared Goff was over center. Yeah. So it went through Jared Goff's legs back to the running back.
They're like I said,
who thinks of that?
It's like watching a cat. Like, they're going to kill the mouse, but they're just batting at it for a little while because they're just trying to like sharpen their skills. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Any others?
Yeah, let's listen to this play right here. Kenny Pickett and George Pickens for the win against the Ravens.
Yeah. That's how you win a dang football game. Yeah, you've got no time left, and you need a huge play. You're facing a second and short, and you need it all to get this win. I mean, you're within field goal range, so you could take the 1-point lead if you get maybe 5 more yards. But geez, look, I mean, that's what happens when you have a special receiver. I don't know how special Kenny Pickett is. The jury's out. But George Pickens, he's a big playmaker.
Oh, every team in the NFL would want George Pickens on their team. Mm-hmm. Now, the play was great. Why was Matt Canada looking so pissed?
I'll tell you why. So what's interesting about this play, and I thought there was a TikToker who broke this down and did a fantastic job because I saw what happened. Baltimore Ravens were in what's called blitz 0, which means they're rushing 6. You have enough receivers out that there's no safety behind it. Blitz 0 means we have 0. There's nobody to back up there. We have straight up man-to-man coverage, and we had 3 deep routes from the Pittsburgh Steelers, which means if they get beat, they get beat. Sorry, nobody's home.
Right.
So they sold out to put the rush on Kenny Pickett. Smart quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Kenny Pickett. They can see what's happening to them, and they can adjust. So he's either signaled or he audibled out loud because he's at home. So usually in these situations, it's quiet enough for you to communicate everything to your receivers. And he got into a play that works. So, So George Pickens flies down the sideline and he just heaved one up to big number 14. He said, "Go make a play for me, big man." And he did, and they got the touchdown.
So you're under the assumption that the reason the entire offensive booth for the Pittsburgh Steelers erupted while Matt Canada just stares forward blankly is that Matt Canada did not call that play.
Well, so that's what this one TikToker said. He kind of spliced the play together with the booth view of Matt Canada, and the rest of the booth was elated. Mm-hmm. They're jumping up and down. They
just won a divisional game. Yeah, huge play.
I mean, the Steelers somehow are 3-2 after that play, as long as their defense holding. Their defense played great all game. Matt Canada looked pissed. So this guy was like, I think it's because he didn't call the play, and he might be right.
Because my assumption when I first saw Matt Canada's no reaction was the fact that it was almost relief. Like, oh God, thank God that worked.
Yeah. And which, in fairness, I think we can probably say it's been a long, hard couple of weeks for Matt Canada. Literally, again, at Heinz Field, boos were pouring out when the Pittsburgh offense stalled. A chance of Fire Canada. Fire Canada.
The weirdest way ever to get to 17 points.
The weirdest. Yeah. I mean, and they were, those chants rang out 3 times during the course of the football game. Okay. Listen, I'm doing some chanting myself. I am lauding the folks over at SD Fat Loss. The team over there, they have helped me immeasurably. If you've seen me on the post-game show on Sunday nights after Sunday Night Football, like last night, my suits are starting to fit better. And I'm not kidding when I say this. Like, to start the season, I couldn't button my suit jackets. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that is when you go on television and you can't even button your suit jacket? It's horrifying. It's like being too fat for the suit you bought for your wedding day. You realize, oh, everybody's looking at me and they're saying, yeah, we get it. We can see the belly. We know what's going on. That was my life. That's real. And unfortunately, I couldn't get it under control myself. And so I got the great experts over at SD Fat Loss to help me out. SDFatLoss.com is where you can start the conversation, or you could call 858-665-3211. I'm going to give you some numbers here. I started this journey 4 weeks ago this past Sunday. So 4 weeks and 1 day ago, I was 301 pounds. Not a big math guy, so I'm not going to do the subtraction here, but I weighed in this morning at 268. So you tell me what that is. 30-something. 33 pounds. There you go. 33 pounds I'm down in 4 weeks and 1 day. 33 pounds.
Incredible.
And listen, I was off the rails. I was eating whatever I wanted. In fact, there were days where I was like, oh, you know what? I think I did pretty good here. I didn't eat that much. And I was still eating well over 3,000, 4,000 calories some of the time, just thinking that's acceptable. It's not. And I finally got under control with the awesome team over at SD Fat Loss. So if you're like me, if you got some tricky weight left over, or if you're obese, if you're just straight up big old fatso like I was, it's okay to admit it. You just have to then go and find some way to get over it. And that's what I did with SD Fat Loss. SDFatLoss.com. Again, that's where you need to go. That's the website. Start the conversation with Wayne and Chloe. They've been our team over there. We're all down a bunch of weight. Travis, north of 25 pounds now, you've lost?
Yeah, just over 25, man.
Ben is down a ton. He looks like a completely different person. Look at this t-shirt. Look at these shorts.
Wow.
He's got so much room.
You're going to need elastic, man.
I think I just saw his wiener. It's okay. That's fine. It's okay. Yeah, we were this close.
Yeah, every 30 pounds.
You gain an inch. Look, the point is our good friends over at SD Fat Loss.
I don't think I can lose 90 more.
Fletch has got nearly an inch and a half showing.
We're loving it, and you'll love it too. So do it as a team, maybe do it as a couple. Your spouse could be involved. My wife's doing it. TD's wife's doing it, so you should do it too. SDFatLoss.com. And coming up next, we got to check in with the coach ahead of a big matchup on the islands. The Aztecs head out to Hawaii this week. What does Brady Hoke, head coach of the San Diego State Aztecs, have to say about the game ahead? We'll get to it next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. Starting off in the NFL, Chiefs beat the Vikings 27-20 on the road. Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. Eagles improved to 5-0 with their 23-14 win over the Rams. And on Sunday Night Football, 49ers get the Cowboys 42-10. Coming up tonight, Raiders host the Packers in Las Vegas. You're going to hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs had the weekend off for a little bye week after they played week 0, so they get the early bye. Now they got Hawaii coming up this Saturday after their bye week, and Coach Brady Hoke will join the show coming up next. What makes a Mercedes-Benz EV different? Electric is what gets you there, but Mercedes is what moves you like no other automaker can. The vehicle is all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Still have a pair of Foo Fighter tickets to give away here. They're going to be playing at Petco Park Wednesday, August 7th of next year, but tickets are on sale right now. They just released that over the weekend. You can get tickets and info at livenation.com or just keep listening for your chance to win those. We'll also have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld Hollow Scream, but it's Wednesday. Let's do this.
We're getting the latest Aztecs news from a man in charge. This is the Brady Hoke Report, driven by the San Diego Toyota dealers. If you're looking for a great deal on a new Toyota, make sure to visit Toyota.com. There you can check out all the latest offers and search inventory. We make it easy.
I wish it was Wednesday.
Wednesday to some, Monday to most.
Listen, I start my week on Saturday.
It's okay.
So I'm ahead of the game.
TD was on his bye too, and he's just a little confused. He woke up and he's like, "What year is this?" It's like that movie Jumanji. All right. Somebody who has no confusion about what day it is today is Brady Hoke, because they are in preparation. The Aztecs are for their upcoming game against the Rainbows out there in Oahu, Hawaii, San Diego State coming up this Saturday. Road game after the bye week. And Coach Hoke, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Rich? And hope you guys all had a great weekend.
Yeah, actually, it was a good to great weekend watching the NFL. On the bye week, I don't know exactly what your practice schedule is, but were you able to settle in on a Sunday and take in some football?
Yeah, I was watching Hawaii. Okay. So, there was no sound either. We had a good week. When you look at it, I think, there's some improvement throughout, and that's one of the things we wanted to do. We practiced on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. Gave the guys a chance to go home. Some of them went home over the weekend, and then they're in the weight room this morning at 6 and getting ready for a practice this afternoon. Got a little bit of work done on Hawaii last week, and got a lot of recruiting done. So there was a lot of those things going on. Guys were busy, coaches were busy, we're excited about this week coming up and going there and playing a heck of a football game.
Coach, did you make adjustments over the week or just some fine tuning?
A little bit of both, Travis. We got some competition at some positions. We want to get more production out of some positions. We've got 9 or 10 defensive linemen that we've kind of been rolling in and out, and to give some other guys a little bit more of a chance, we'll do that. And so overall, I think we had a deep dive into where we're at. Good things that we've done, because there are some good things, and we want to repeat those. The things that we've done well, and then making correct behavior on performance in some other ways. So that's kind of what we did last week, and I thought the players responded well. In fact, I thought there was some really good competition while we were out there.
Coach, last time we talked was right after the Air Force game, and you talked about wanting to get some guys healthy who have been out there a ton. Like guys that come to mind are Fiase, who's played in pretty much every snap, Mark Redmond, Jalen Maiden, Mekhi Shaw, who we saw a little bit, but not a ton on last 2 Saturdays ago. Are guys generally pretty healthy here as we get into your next part of the season?
Yeah, we are. We've got kind of, been a weird deal because we go and we play now the next 2 weeks, and then we got another week off. So, and I don't know what's good or bad, about weeks off, 5 weeks. I know I was involved in one. We were playing Northwestern when I was at Michigan as an assistant, and we had a bye week before we played Northwestern, and they had just brought in the spread, and really we're the only team in the Big Ten. And Rich, you would know this, that really were playing spread football, and we thought we had a heck of a plan and all that kind of stuff, and they were going with tempo, and we went up to Northwestern and got our butts beat, and that was during an off week. So I don't know. The plus side, there's some pluses and some minuses, and really, if you can get your team healthy during that time while making some improvements from a fundamental standpoint, I think those are the two worlds you really want to help yourself.
Yeah, no question about it. The hope certainly is that you guys are more rested, better prepared than Hawaii, who I believe also coming off their bye week here as well. Yeah. So interesting matchup this weekend, no question about it, for the Aztecs. And we'll all be rooting for you, Coach. We know you got to get back to that Hawaii film with zero sound, so we're not going to bother you any further. That's a promise.
I was just going to leave you guys on, and that would be the sound.
There it is.
Perfect.
Make sure you download the free iHeartRadio
app. Quick plug. Hey, Coach, thank you for doing that every week, dealing with our nonsense. We'll do it again next Monday.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you very much.
There he goes, Coach Hoke.
Or Wednesday.
Yeah, well, actually, that is a great way to plug the Brady Hoke Coaches Show, which we do every single Wednesday. And that report from Brady Hoke is brought to you by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. If you're looking for a great deal on a new Toyota, make sure you visit Toyota.com. There you can check out all the latest offers. Search inventory. We make it easy, Toyota.
Speaking of Toyota, the Tacoma looks really good on the beach.
Did you drive it out on the beach?
Not onto the sand, but I had a really nice front parking spot in PB over the weekend.
Yeah.
And it was just the Tacoma with the ocean in the background.
I actually really do like parking cars on
He's
sand.
dating his car.
It really is. I laid her down on the sand, and I opened her tailgate. And I stuffed a cooler in her.
Dude, one of the best things to do in San Diego is parking on Sunset Cliffs. You know, that little dirt patch up ahead?
And making out with your car.
No, and having a little picnic in the tailgate of your truck, looking out those.
I just picture people like, yeah, hello, officer. Yeah, there's a gentleman licking the headlights of his Toyota Tacoma out front.
Did you ever see that show, My Strange Addiction?
Yes.
There was a dude who married his car.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I watched an episode of that, and a woman was eating her couch.
Yeah.
She had some sort of mental disorder called pica, and she was eating the foam out of her couch. They were interviewing her, and she was reaching between her legs. She had cut a hole in the couch cushion, and she was pulling the foam and chowing down.
So funny. That lady was also on an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die.
No.
I don't know. That was a joke.
Oh, my gosh. I was going to say, we saw the same thing on two different shows.
She died from eating her couch.
There was a dude who would eat glass. He would bite into light bulbs. And then what was astonishing is they were like, oh yeah, I mean, totally normal. It happens all the time.
It's completely normal behavior. Completely normal. You know what, Ben, he was partying all weekend long. He had his boys in town. They were down here. They were in PB, and I thought I had him in fantasy. I didn't. He actually started somebody who didn't even play this week.
Okay, I thought I changed him out.
You didn't.
I didn't.
And you're still gonna beat me.
It was Jahmyr Gibbs. I actually already did it. We're done.
It's over. It's crazy. But if your season-long fantasy isn't going so well, you can always download Underdog Fantasy. And so that's the only reason why I'm happy today, because we have Monday Night Football on today. We got Raiders, we got Packers. You can take any of the players on the field and you can put together a pick 'em. It could be 2 players, it could be 4 players, it could be 5 players. Up to 5 players, you can win 20 times the amount of money you put in on a pick 'em entry. So this is the way it works. You want to pick a player, decide whether he's going to go higher or lower in his stat total, and that's it. And then just pick a couple of more. And the more players you pick, the bigger the multiplier is. I absolutely love Underdog Fantasy. It makes watching some of these blowouts on primetime, another blowout last night, 49ers over the Dallas Cowboys. It makes it so much more interesting when you've got a little bit of money on the line. And it's completely legal in the state of California. You don't have to worry about anything. Just download the free Underdog Fantasy app, and then you put in your deposit. And if you put in your deposit, sign up with promo code XTRA, and your deposit is automatically doubled up to $100. So if you just put in $5, it turns into $10. If you put in $10, it turns into 20. You put in 50, it turns into 100. You put in $100 in your first deposit, it turns into $200 as long as you sign up with promo code XTRA. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Woo! Okay, coming up next, two great coaches on the hot seat. Which seat is hotter, though? We'll discuss next. We have SeaWorld tickets, a 4-pack. We have Foo Fighter tickets, a pair. Find out when you're going to win them coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We have Foo Fighter tickets. We have SeaWorld tickets. A pair of Foo Fighter tickets to see them with the Hives and Alex G. Wednesday, August 7th of 2024 at Petco Park. You can go to livenation.com right now to buy tickets or see more information on the show. But I suggest you just wait to the 8 o'clock hour, where we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to see the Foo Fighters here in San Diego, and also a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hollow Scream. I was just over there at SeaWorld.
Mm-hmm.
They're all set up for it. It wasn't on one of the select days that they're doing Hollow Scream, but it's spooky city. It's really fun. And I mean, all the attractions are open. It's the best place to bring kids.
Yeah, I can't wait to get over there. You also want to keep it locked in here to San Diego Sports 760, because we have a chance for you to win $1,000 every single day. All you got to do is listen for the keyword, then take the keyword over to sportssd.com to enter it. It's presented by Loan Pronto. Stop paying insane rates on your credit cards. Loan Pronto can help you tap the equity in your home so you can be credit card debt free in less than a week. LoanPronto.com. It's LoanPronto.com.
Okay, so I want to do a little role playing here. Okay, I'm going to pretend to be.
Okay. Should I go get my maid outfit?
Yeah. I got a nurse costume.
I saw Travis's schoolgirl one the other day.
Oh, it's good.
Awesome.
It's good. Britney Spears schoolgirl.
That is not what I was talking about, guys.
Rich, you brought up role playing.
I know.
Just trying to play our part.
Can we do it like an NFL version? And I don't mean,
cheerleaders.
No, that's again, you guys are you're skewing this in a very sexual way.
Travis, do you still have your Bengals mascot?
100%.
The furry one?
Meow.
Okay.
Sweet Jesus. This has gone very sideways. No, what I want you, Travis, to do, because you are TD is our resident Broncos fan. So I want you to pretend you're Sean Payton.
Correct.
Fletch.
Okay, I'm in.
I want you to pretend that you're Bill Belichick. Now I'm going to be Mr. Walton in Denver.
Okay.
And I'm going to be Mr. Kraft in New England. And I want you two idiots to defend yourself as to what's going on this season. So I'll start with you, Fletch.
Well, Robert, just go back to Orchids of Asia. I don't know what to tell you, because right now the team just isn't playing very well. You need to give me more of a budget to bring in some players, but I'm going to bring them in and they're still going to suck. So our offense just doesn't have any pieces right now. On to Cincinnati.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill. I need a massage to relax me after some of these pitiful performances by Mac Jones. Why hasn't he developed?
I don't know. Just I guess our owner's just spending too much time hanging out with Deshaun Watson. Sorry, that's not funny. That felt like that was in bad taste. I don't like what I did there. I really don't.
Your gut took you there, though.
No,
just
I know.
Honestly, you know what? Instead, we're going to go back to the maid costume. This was a terrible idea. This was a terrible idea.
I feel bad about that. I'm sorry, Robert Kraft. Like, you're an old billionaire. You got to do what you got to do. I get it.
I mean, his wife's dead. All the guy wanted was just that
video is out there, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I haven't seen it.
Pasteurized processed cheese. That's all he wants.
If anybody wants to see a septuagenarian get tugged, go ahead and just search it on the internet. That's awful. All right, let's move on. I have no idea what Mr. Walton sounds like, but I'm going to assume it's like very proletarian, very like affluent. So
yeah, what's the question?
Okay.
What's the question?
So TD is Sean Payton. All right, here we go. Sean.
Yeah, do you have a question?
Thank you for coming to my office. Could you explain to me why we suck so bad at football?
I've explained. No question there, but I'll give you a statement. Just before the season started, I told you we got 20 bad hands on this guy. All right.
I think he said dirty hands.
Dirty hands. 20 dirty hands on Russell Wilson. All right.
Also applies to Robert Kraft.
The guy's terrible.
Wait a second, Coach Payton.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett, as big of a dumpster fire as he was last year, he was 2-3 through his first 5 games. What's our record?
Yeah. It's look, I can't help it. He broke the guy. All right. He broke him. So I mean, just like you guys doing over there at Wally World. Maybe we need to roll back on Russell Wilson as well. You know, roll back this guy. Give me somebody new, because I'm gonna lay it out there. Russell Wilson sucks. Okay, you gave me this. So did you have a question?
Okay,
did you have a question?
Okay, no. That is a perfect shot, Payton. So aggressive. Really quick though, Fletch.
He really chews that gum too.
He chews the mess out of that gum. Everybody gives Pete Carroll a hard time for chomping on his gum. Sean Payton, he'll chew some gum now. Flex,
got
really
to.
quick. Belichick or Sean Payton, which seat's hotter?
I don't think either of them are all that hot. I think
Yeah.
they're both the coach next year. If either of them are not the coach of that team next year, it's their choice, not the ownership.
Interesting. What about you, TD?
I don't think Sean Payton's is even warm. I mean, he has done a great job of setting up that it ain't his fault. And I'm telling you, Denver does not look at Sean Payton as the problem.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think if there's a hotter seat, I'm talking about between the two of them, it's probably Belichick.
Yeah, but there's like a little tiny candle that's under it.
I don't
It's
know.
not a torch yet.
I don't know. You read some of these headlines coming out of New England.
The headline.
New England's used to winning, though.
Right,
Yeah.
So
Robert Kraft understands who did all that winning.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
God.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Again.
Tom Brady.
Okay, I'm teasing.
Speaking of feet,
no easy segues here. No, listen, the Good Feet store has really changed my life. I wake up in the morning without back pain almost 100% of the time now, and I really owe it to these tiny little arch supports. I mean, something small can change you in a big way. Your feet, after all, are the foundation of the rest of your body. So you slide these arch supports into your shoes. I mean, shoot, I even wear these things with my slippers. You walk around the house in them. It doesn't matter what footwear you're wearing. They have an arch support for the footwear, and they have an arch support for you. I didn't realize this before walking through the doors at the Mission Valley location at the Good Feet store, but your foot actually has 4 arches, and they measure all of them, and they custom fit an arch support to your needs, your lifestyle, your footwear, your profession, whatever it is you're doing. If you're dealing with lower body joint pain, shoot, if you have a bad neck, I was talking to them about somebody who walked through the door and they were having all these issues with their neck and they had shoulder pain. And for whatever reason, their posture was affecting their neck, and changing their feet changed their neck. I'm not a doctor, but I walked through the door there feeling pretty crummy, walked out of the door a week later feeling a lot better. So if you're like me, if you struggle with joint pain, get to the Good Feet store, 200 plus locations overseas and right here in the United States. The Good Feet store, goodfeet.com. Okay, coming up next, we got to review this entire NFL Sunday and also SeaWorld tickets, a 4-pack, Foo Fighter tickets, a pair, coming up next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We will begin in the NFL here. Notable scores from yesterday. Chiefs take down the Vikings 27-20 on the road. Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. Sorry, Travis. Eagles improved to 5-0 with their 23-14 win over the Rams. And on Sunday Night Football, the Niners, they beat the snot out of the Cowboys 42-10. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns in the win. Coming up tonight, Raiders host the Packers in Las Vegas. You're going to hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. In Major League Baseball, the playoffs roar on through the divisional round where the Dodgers trail the D-backs 1-0. They're going to play game 2 tonight in LA at 6 o'clock. And in college football, Aztecs had their bye week. They're getting ready for Hawaii this Saturday. Brady Hoke was on the show earlier. If you missed it, it's up on the free iHeartRadio app. The superbly versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. It's impressively techy and surprisingly roomy with available seating for up to 7. The vehicle is all-electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Monday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we are rolling. That was the fastest 2 hours of radio I think I've ever been involved with. So much happened yesterday. And if you missed the NFL weekend, if you missed the college football weekend, we're going to be discussing this probably all the way up until Thursday Night Football because so many things happened, including Will Ferrell crashing a frat party after a USC victory this weekend.
So I want to go to that party.
So Will Ferrell went to USC, and he was in a fraternity when he was there, but it wasn't that fraternity.
No, he just crashed a random party.
And he was DJing and had the fog machine going.
He showed up in a sweatsuit and a gold chain.
And a backwards hat.
And a pair of doucher sunglasses. And he just raved with the college kids.
It was awesome.
Can you imagine?
His son apparently was in the crowd.
Dude, that is the cool. Well, I don't know if it's the coolest. Like, imagine being Will Ferrell's son.
A little weird.
Yeah, that's got to be uncomfortable at times.
Then if this show continues to do what I think it's going to do, and like Travis becomes as famous as Will Ferrell,
that's
definitely
in the cards.
Honestly, which is not a stretch.
No, dude, TD is about to be huge. But you would be the guy that like crashes one of Caleb's parties and starts DJing and shooting off fog guns.
Already done that.
Actually, your role as a father, as I found out. Now, Travis has grown kids. He got a head start on life. 18 years old when he started pumping out those baby boys.
20.
Okay, sorry, 20.
I'll be honest, you messed up with Caleb.
Well, hang on. Caleb
he's
and
a crappy
Fletch.
Kid.
Well, Caleb and Fletch have an ongoing.
He's a naughty boy.
He just feels like he could play better basketball than Fletch.
Like I could
That's
snap
all.
Caleb in half.
He just feels like he could outshoot you or dribble or run.
I just love how much trash he talks. Like there are times where TD, he'll be telling me about things that Caleb says about your basketball game, like just randomly. Like, do you realize still to this day, he'll be walking around the Dale household and he'll just be like, dude, I still can't believe how bad Ben's at basketball. Like he has 0 handles also. Like, I would have stolen it from him so many times. Like, J-Riff wasn't even trying.
Yeah, there are times he does bring up video from the Hard Wooden Balls Classic.
Caleb's a real D. You know that?
He wants to run through some things with me that I'm like, hey, it's all right, man. I mean, we're past it.
Go play with your baseball cards.
Imagine though, if you do become world renowned like a Will Ferrell, and then you could have a spin-off podcast, TD and CD, and Caleb can talk about his baseball cards. You know, you can,
and I'll talk about how pissed I am
about his baseball cards.
About these baseball cards.
Caleb bought what was it, $5,000 or $6,000?
$5,000 worth of baseball cards.
Has he ever paid you rent?
No.
Oh, weird.
No.
Irresponsible.
I love this.
$5,000.
I want to fan these flames. I want to dump gasoline. The next Hardwood and Balls Classic may have to be between Fletch and CD Caleb Dale.
TD, when the cat was racking up all those vet bills, did Caleb offer to help?
No. That's because he spent $5,000 on baseball cards because you know why? Because he needed a side hustle. This is what I was told. He needed a good side hustle. Turns out, not a great side hustle. Not great.
Yeah, not as successful as others. Here's a good hustle. How about you hustle on over and keep your ears listening and glued to this show because we have a 4-pack of tickets to Hollow Scream over at SeaWorld. We're going to be giving those away coming up here in 5 minutes. How about that? How about that? And then Foo Fighter tickets are coming up very shortly as well. So we have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld. We're giving that away in 5 minutes. And then Foo Fighters will let you know exactly when you can win those coming up very shortly. A pair of tickets to see their August 7th show at Petco Park. Those tickets are selling fast. So get to livenation.com if you want to check out the Foos over in the gas lamp. Okay. So check it out. The Rams, they're back. The Rams are back in a big way. Did anybody watch that game?
Oh, yeah.
Holy
so
smokes.
It's crazy that we've done 2 hours of NFL talk pretty much exclusively, and we haven't gotten to that Rams game.
No.
And we haven't talked about the Bengals.
We haven't talked about either, but both of them are back, baby.
Both of them are back. So the Rams.
Sort of.
They lose.
Yeah. No. I mean, the Rams, I do feel are back. The Bengals, I'm not completely sold.
Oh,
but
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
now that is opposite of what the take, like, colloquially would be.
Right.
Because the Bengals won in dominant fashion. Jamar Chase had like 190 yards or something, 3 touchdowns. He's always open. Hashtag 7-11.
Correct.
But the Rams, so they talk all this smack during the week that even with Cooper Kupp coming back, Puka Nacua, his rates won't go down. He's still going to get his, right? They were right. They both got theirs. Now, Puka Nacua much less, but Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford looked at him on every single play.
Yeah, don't forget who Sean McVay is. Like Sean McVay, Shanahan, Zach Taylor, like these people are all from the same tree. They're going to feed their skill position players. They're going to make sure they stay involved and stay locked in. Nacua gets his second career touchdown. He has 71 yards on 7 receptions. Cooper Kupp, first game back, 8 catches, 118 yards. He had that huge pass, 39-yard long. I mean, this is going to be one of the harder offenses to scheme against, but the Philadelphia Eagles continue to find a way.
Yeah.
This is one of the grittiest teams, and with a 5-0 record, perfection. They've already played 3 games on the road. They've been, look, the only way I could describe it is just heart. There are certain teams that they have a lot of belief in the huddle. I remember feeling this way with Tom Brady. It didn't matter who we were matched up against. When you have a special quarterback who believes in himself and believes in all of you, you believe in yourself too. You believe that you'll win every single game. And that's what Jalen Hurts, he exudes that confidence. He breathes it into this football team. And I feel like he and Nick Sirianni, I think they're a great combination, head coach and quarterback. They create this culture of we're unstoppable. Just watch us.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I think that's what makes them fun to watch. That's what makes these games fun. I think the Rams are legit. And now, I mean, start of the season, I did not. I thought this was going to be a complete train wreck. The Rams have something going on here. I mean, with Cooper Kupp now on one side of the field and
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Aaron Donald on the other side of the field. I mean, come on. This team is a force to be reckoned with. Now, they went up against the Eagles, who find a way to win. That's why they lost this game. When we get to the Bengals, we'll get to the Bengals.
The Philadelphia Eagles really annoy me, and I don't know why. Because they haven't looked good in a single game they've played. They're 5-0,
and they're still playing C+. I
mean, if you have that combination, that is a terrifying football team. A team who hasn't necessarily figured it out yet. I think they really miss their coordinators, who both got vultured after last season's Super Bowl run. Once they do put it all together and figure it out, they become the scariest team in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shane Steichen, to your point, Fletch, is doing a great job with the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson, although often injured, has been insanely productive.
Gardner Minshew has looked really good when he comes in.
I was about to say that. So is Gardner Minshew, insanely prepared. This offense doesn't really skip a beat, and they needed, again, in a big way, for their backup to come in and finish a game for Anthony Richardson. They did. The Colts get the win over the Titans. And then Jonathan Gannon, I've been impressed. I get it. The results aren't necessarily there, but the Cardinals, Like, they're just tricky. They're just hanging around in games, and games people don't figure they should be hanging around in. They got the win over the Dallas Cowboys. The Cardinals are a tougher out than I think a lot of people expected when this season started. So you're right. There's a little bit of a brain drain for the Eagles, losing both of their coordinators who are having varied success as head coaches in the league now. But I do think that it's had an effect on the Eagles. But beside that, they found a way to win games. And the Rams, the reason why I say they're back is even though it's only 2 wins, they're 2-3 team right now, and they're going into a pretty tough stretch of their season. Some of the competition they're about to face on this schedule, including the Arizona Cardinals this upcoming week. Again, they get to host them, but tricky out. I think the Rams are about to explode.
When is there going to be a rule that tweaks the tush push?
What? Why? What do you need to tweak the tush push
it
for?
just doesn't look like football. Now, I understand that it's a great play for Philadelphia. It has varied success around the league with other people, but I feel like they might need to tweak the rules.
They're not going to tweak it this season. They said we're going to allow it for the 2023 season. They said the competition committee in the NFL and the NFLPA are going to take a closer look at it this offseason. Once again, they did this offseason, decided on no ruling against it, and they're going to make a determination on it. Here's the deal. If they're going to say, hey, player safety, we can't do this, well, then you have to outlaw the QB sneak. It's the same play. The only difference is you have a couple of running backs behind the quarterback. And a couple of offensive linemen this year got injured doing it in New York with the Giants, who is a train wreck of an offensive line. They'd hurt themselves trying to peel a banana. Like, I mean, they are terrible as an offense. This is a group that gave up 28 sacks so far this season on one quarterback alone. So don't give me all that nonsense about that, it being dangerous. The reason why they want to outlaw the play is because rival owners are going, hey, this is unfair. The Philadelphia Eagles have an advantage.
It's a cheat code.
Yeah, but
for the Eagles,
yeah,
but it's like saying, hey, Tennessee Titans, you're cheating because you have Derrick Henry.
right?
He's not allowed to play in the fourth quarter.
I feel exactly the same way. Give me a break.
Literally unstoppable.
Yeah, but so are the 49ers. Are we going to say, hey, guess what? You have to play without Debo or Kittle or McCaffrey. You can't have all three on the field.
Or the Dolphins. Sorry, Tyreek Hill. You know what? You're going to have your shoes tied together. That's the only way we can keep up with you.
Your receivers are too fast.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a guy with one of those radar guns, and if you cross over 20 miles per hour, you are out.
You get a ticket, buddy.
You are going to get ticketed. So anyways, all right. How about, speaking of tickets, we have tickets to SeaWorld, and we told you we're going to give away a family 4-pack to Hollow Scream. Well, we're doing it right now. 844-570-1360. Call in right now if you want to go to SeaWorld on a family 4-pack of tickets. 844-570-1360. The lines are lighting up. Let's do this.
Well, switching gears a little bit here to baseball. Major League Baseball Division Series underway. Yesterday, the Rangers beat the Orioles, now lead the series 2-0. The Twins beat the Astros. Now that series is tied 1-1. The Dodgers over the weekend got thumped 11-2 by the red-hot Diamondbacks. Clayton Kershaw had a complete meltdown on the mound. Back to the NFL, Taylor Swift not in attendance at the Chiefs-Vikings game. And even with her not there and a Chiefs victory, Travis Kelce believes that Taylor Swift is his good luck charm. How about that? Yeah. Tonight on Monday Night Football, Packers take on the Raiders. Kickoff 5:15. I think that's right. And in the spirit of Halloween, golf influencer Paige Sporanic decided she was going to dress up every single day here in a new costume and post it online. Right. Last night, or yesterday, actually, she dressed up as a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader when they played the 49ers. And for the first time ever in the history of time, I was a Cowboys fan.
Wow. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I salute you.
I mean, that's America's team, buddy. That's America's team.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Dear God, she's got her pistols out.
Wait. How do you feel about Paige Sporanic as a Cowboy?
She's dead to me. No, I don't care. Wow. I do have a little speech for Cowboy fans.
You have a speech?
Yeah. Did you hold on?
Do we need a prompter? Do you have it memorized?
No, I got it in my head. It's more of an interactive speech for people driving around who might be Cowboys fans.
Driving around listening on the free iHeartRadio app?
Right. To repeat back to me.
Take us with you wherever you go.
Actually, in fact, this is what I encourage anybody to do who's a Cowboys fan listening to Fletch this morning. I have a feeling you're going to hate what he's about to say.
So much.
Okay.
Do we have anyone on hold, by the way?
No, Jose won. Congrats, Jose.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that was. I thought we were playing a game.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, that was just a giveaway.
We're gonna do. We're gonna tell you how you're gonna win those Foo Fighter tickets coming up in just a few minutes. I want to talk about the Bengals here real quick, but before any of that,
this is quick.
Okay.
Before any of that,
the speech.
I want to hear the speech from Fletch, and then I want to encourage everyone on the free iHeartRadio app to click the talkback icon. It's a little microphone next to the play button, and I want you to absolutely eviscerate Fletch if you're a Cowboys fan for what he's about to say to you. Okay, here we go. The floor is yours.
Can you two play the part of the Cowboys fan that I'm talking to right now? Because it's a little repeat after me.
Okay, sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I state your name.
I Richard
Travis TD
Will never again
will never again
look at easy wins early in the season
look at easy wins early in the season.
and use that to talk about why the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl.
And
How about
using
them
that to
boys?
Talk about
How about them boys?
It's Paige Sporanic in the costume.
Yeah.
Dude, it
Holy
is.
Hooters. Holy Hooters.
Okay, that's it. That's the speech. And then sign your name at the bottom, right? It is unfathomable how every single year Cowboy fans come into the season and they get a win in week 1 where they look amazing. They
How about
look like
them boys?
world beaters. Travis says something like, or TD says something like, oh, they're never going to lose a game again. Look at this defense. It's so good. Micah Parsons.
I don't know if I said that.
And then, like 3 weeks later, when they lose to the Arizona Cardinals, everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's a fluke. They're going to beat the crap out of the Niners on Sunday Night Football. It's Dak's revenge game. This is going to be so good for the Cowboys. Yeah, you got your asses beat. Cowboy fans are the worst.
Okay, then I'm just
that has been 2 hours and 20 minutes have just built up.
It's been like 13 hours at this point.
I am going to encourage everybody once again, free iHeartRadio app. If you're a Cowboys fan and you want to return fire,
What are you going to say? 42-10.
wow. The talk back button is right next to the play button. If you're listening to our show, just go ahead and hold that down. The message is amazing. It's like a voicemail. It gets sent directly to us, and we will play it coming up next.
That's the 7th straight time we've beat you with like 4 different quarterbacks.
Oh,
God, Dak sucks.
He's cutting deep.
Yeah.
He's cutting real deep.
Wow. Beat them.
Dem boys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Them boys. About beat you.
Dak Prescott is not very good.
Jeez.
Okay, hold on.
Hang on. Timeout. Quick timeout. Dak Prescott, look, he is a good quarterback, at very least serviceable, and at times elite.
And at times really bad.
The problem is he's just not clutch in big moments. And there have been a couple of primetime games that have been real stinkers for the Cowboys. Now, don't get me wrong. There's been an even mix of good ones too. It's just when it comes down to the nitty gritty, can you count on Dak? And I get this feeling in my stomach, like the Cowboys, they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Dak. It's because he fades in the playoffs, or he fades in these big primetime games like last night, especially against better competition. He just looks out of sorts. He definitely was last night. That defense savaged him.
Dak is
should
really good against bad teams.
They should have brought in Trey Lance.
They actually brought in Cooper Rush. Trey Lance is QB3.
Yeah, I know that. And I said it last year as well. Cooper Rush, that the Dallas Cowboys offense looks a little smoother under Cooper Rush.
Yeah. Looks like August Rush out there. It's like a symphonic. Man's like a conductor.
That was a deep cut.
Yeah.
I mean, a great movie.
Wow.
Deep cut.
I use my brains and not just my brawns. Actually, I don't have any brawn left. I told Annie, I was like, don't I look good with all this weight loss? And she's like, you definitely look good when your clothes are on.
Oh,
and I was just like, wow, that's that. Talk about a deep cut.
Wow.
I was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, are the muscles too distracting when I got undressed? She was like, you look like you weigh less. You just shrunk and you're still just as fat. I'm like, thank you so much. Still got work to do.
All right.
Still got some work to do.
Average Rich, TD, and Fletch. We do have tickets. We're going
to. We do. We got Foo Fighter tickets. Find out exactly how you're going to win those coming up next. Also, we haven't touched on the Bengals. Joe Burrow is back. And before we scoot, I want to talk to you about Toyota. Get out to your San Diego County Toyota dealers today. If you're thinking about your next car purchase, truck purchase, SUV purchase, I really suggest you get to Toyota and see what they have in stock. I drive around in the 4Runner. You've heard me talk about this car many times. It is the most reliable vehicle my family has ever owned. The thing runs like a tank. You put some oil in it every 3 months or so, maybe 4 months. You put some gas in it once a week or however much you burn through it, and it just goes. It starts up every single time. I had to do zero maintenance in 5 years. Now, listen, that's my experience with Toyota so far. I've been told that for years and years and years. I didn't really believe it, to be perfectly honest with you. But then I went down to Chula Vista, met up with some of our San Diego County Toyota dealers, great customer service, walked out in an hour with a 4Runner, and I'll never look back. I'm brand loyal, baby. So Toyota is the car and truck and SUV for me. And again, if you're breaking down a bunch, or if you're riding around in a car that doesn't fit your family or your needs anymore, check them out. Also, they have Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles. I get to drive around. Actually, I was doing it this weekend again up in LA. My mother-in-law owns a Prius, and she lets me drive that around when we're up there visiting family. So get to Toyota. They make it easy. Toyota.com to check out their full inventory. And again, if you haven't yet and you're considering a new car or a used car, head to your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Foo Fighter tickets on the other side. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Are they back for real? For real? We discuss coming up next.
We got Foo Fighters tickets on the other side of this break, and you're going to want to find out how you are going to win them. Keep listening. This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. We will start in the NFL, where on Sunday Night Football, the 49ers beat the Cowboys 42-10. Otherwise, throughout the day, the Chiefs beat the Vikings 27-20. Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. Russ had a really bad fumble to add to the list of things that have been really bad for the Broncos. Eagles improved to 5-0. 5-0 with their 23-14 win over the Rams. And then in Major League Baseball, the divisional round, the Dodgers trail the Diamondbacks 1-0. They got game 2 tonight in Los Angeles at 6:00. Also tonight, the Raiders will be hosting the Packers in Las Vegas. That's a game you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, CD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to be telling you how you can win a pair of tickets to go see the Foo Fighters with the Hives and Alex G. It's happening Wednesday, August 7th at Petco Park next year, but we got them early, and we got them right now because tickets went on sale yesterday. If you're looking for tickets and info on that show, go to livenation.com. But, yeah, man. Also, the free iHeartRadio app. Make sure you have that downloaded, whatever device you have. That way you can take Big Rich, CD, and Fletch. Yeah, right. Oh, man. If you got a smart speaker at home, easy to listen to us as well. Yeah, just yell at it. Just scream at the top of your lungs, whatever it is. Alexa, Google, Siri. Hey, Siri, play San Diego Sports 760.
My phone actually just lit up.
Did
Thank
it?
you.
Yeah, good. It's working.
Also, if you are on the free iHeartRadio app, make sure you navigate over to that little microphone feature at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, right next to the play button, because Rich put out the challenge, and I'm going to tweak that challenge. Cowboy fans, defend that game last night.
Wow. Throwing down the gauntlet.
There is no defense.
Literally.
And
Yeah, there was the
we were talking about coaches on hot seats. Like, I think Mike McCarthy's name has to be included in that conversation too.
does he though?
I think so.
I mean,
he's calling the plays, man.
Yeah, but look, the defense has been absolutely on fire. The 49ers just took him to task.
That defense last night looked very saintly because it was quite holy.
Wow.
Time out. I'll put myself.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, that was bad. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe if you had some jazz church music.
Let's take a lap. Take a lap.
I deserve it.
We're going to talk about the Bengals for a second here before we get to a very special edition of That's Bunk Man.
That's Bunk Man.
That's Bunk Man. Where our listener contestants try to tell whether we are truthful or we're bunk man. That's coming up for Foo Fighter tickets. So stick around for about 2.5 minutes. We'll tell you when to call. Do not call now. In about 2.5 minutes, Foo Fighter tickets on the line for That's Bunk Man. Joe Burrow, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 3 times. He looked good.
Did you see Jamar Chase's Instagram post after the game?
No, I didn't see it.
So the quote that went viral from last week was when the reporter asked him if he feels like he's not open. And I'm always open. After the game this week, he posted just 2 words, 7-Eleven, because he's always open.
I love it.
And he had 192, 189, something like that yards and 3 touchdowns.
15 receptions on 19 targets. So he caught most of them. 192 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's awesome.
And he had that 63-yard bomb of a catch. But, I mean, Joe Burrow did most of the work there. I mean, that was cannon fire. So
doesn't Jamar Chase look like he belongs on the Dolphins?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Every good receiver does. Like, I look at Justin Jefferson, I'm like, man, he looked good in Miami. Like, all of them do.
Justin Jefferson went out with an injury, by the way. Yeah. So
was it a hammy?
I think it was a hammy. Yep. Oh, Travis Kelce also was nursing
that was an ankle.
Yeah, it was an ankle.
Yeah, they said his foot or his ankle is hurt.
When you saw that play, did you immediately think ACL? Because I did.
Yeah, but the way he went down, right. He kind of wobbled on that foot. Doc Chow, our injury specialist who joins the show every single Tuesday, is going to be joining us tomorrow.
Definitely.
We'll be discussing Daniel Jones's neck, see what he saw there on film. We'll be discussing Travis Kelce's lower body.
In length.
All of it?
You could go a lot of different directions.
Every inch of it.
Very busy with Taylor Swift. And then also we'll be discussing this calf injury from Joe Burrow because all of a sudden he's turned a corner.
And that situation, I don't know if it was in Carolina, but the Panthers lineman, I'm forgetting his name, but he was down on the field for 6 or 7 minutes, had to be carted off, did give the thumbs up. But, man, that's a hard thing to watch.
Zavala.
Zavala, that's what it was.
I forget his first name, but he's a rookie. He's actually having a tough season.
It didn't look like that big of a hit, but he goes down and immediately couldn't move. And it's just so scary when you see something like that, especially after what happened last year with Damar Hamlin, where you don't really know what the injury is, but someone's laying there not moving.
Yeah, motionless, and then bodyboarded, and then finally signs of consciousness as he's being carted off the field. He waved to the crowd, gave a thumbs up to the crowd. Thank goodness, dude. I mean, my heart can't stand to see another Damar Hamlin thing. So, just prayers to him and his family, because I remember during my playing days, guys, the scariest thing for my family members were when I disappeared into the tunnel or off the field, and they didn't know where I was. They didn't know if I was okay, and they can't get in touch with me. My wife, sometimes in the stands crying. I got injured a lot. So, I mean, I think she got used to it towards that. It's like, no, this is the routine. He probably broke something. It'll be fine. Trust me. He's made of glass.
In his back is actually fake, and so it might just broke. Right.
It's just, bro. They'll replace it. He's like Mr. Potato Head. Okay.
Does this seem like a get-right game for the Bengals, though? Because I said that when they played the Rams and beat them.
Yeah.
It looked different this time.
Yeah,
it looked a little more in sync. It's like when we talk about the Eagles, how I just don't think they've looked right yet. That was the Bengals when they look right.
Correct. But they were playing a team they were supposed to win.
Yeah.
So they got the Seahawks next week. That's going to be a little more of a challenge than the Niners. Then I feel like, I mean, let's see what these Bengals are about.
Bring it on, Joe.
What? Okay. All right. Wow.
Fletch is like, Fletch is like on it right now. He's got an undefeated football team, the Niners. He's got a big win over the Cowboys. He literally said we're going to get dusted by the Cowboys.
I said that in the preseason.
He thought, but you said even last week.
I said I didn't want to change my mind.
Wait, hold on. You're leaving yourself.
But when we made our officials pick, I did take
this guy's a maniac. You know what? We got Foo Fighter tickets to give away. We're going to do that right now. And this is the way we're going to do it. 844-570-1360. Call the number right now, 844-570-1360. If you want to see the Foo Fighters August 7th over at Petco Park, I suggest you go to livenation.com. You can buy tickets there, or call right now, 844-570-1360. Literally the first caller on the phone. We're going to pick you up. We're going to get you on for what we call That's Bunkman. So this is game show, Travis, that is sweeping the greater portion of San Diego. I hear we're huge in Solana Beach.
Yeah.
Some people in Cardiff by the Sea say it's the greatest game show ever played.
Right. I've heard that too. I hear it a lot.
Gentlemen and ladies in Carlsbad, they weep big fat tears when they hear we're about to play That's Bunkman on a Monday.
That's right. As Fletch going through the calls here, are people people not wanting to play That's Bunkman?
No.
The lines are lit up. Here we go. Here we go.
We're gonna welcome on Scott.
Yeah.
Wait, did Scott just hang up?
Wait.
Scott just hung up.
He's there.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, you get him on the line here. Here we go.
There we go.
Hey, Scott, how you doing, man?
I am well. I'm excited for this one.
Dude, same here. We're going to go to this show. I mean, come hell or high water, we are going to go to this show at Petco Park, and hopefully you can do too.
You know what where the Foo Fighters got their name?
Yeah. Wasn't it a name of a tactical aerial team not in our military, but a different Air Force?
You're close. You're very close. In World War II, the pilots, when they saw UFOs, they called them Foo Fighters.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So an unidentified flying object was a Foo Fighter.
That is correct.
Interesting. Okay. So we are playing That's Bunkman for Foo Fighter tickets, Scott. Very simple rules. We're each going to tell you a story from our own lives. You have to determine whether they're true or they're Bunkman. And if you get 2 out of 3 correct, you win Foo Fighters tickets. Are you ready to play?
I am ready.
Okay. I'm going to lead it off here because I have a really interesting story to tell you. During my 6-year NFL playing career, Scott, I peed myself every single game I played in. Is that true or is that Bunkman?
I'm going to go with true.
Ooh, incorrect. Now, I did most games pee myself. And the way I would do it is I would take a knee either on the field or on the sideline and just hose myself down with a water bottle there were certain trainers and like helpers on the staff who weren't familiar with this technique, who sometimes were like, "Are you peeing your pants right now?" I'll be like, "Yeah." It was so normal for me, and it was so abnormal for them.
But it's normal in the NFL.
Oh, dude, yeah, a lot of guys do this.
Yeah, the same story from a lot of guys.
Yeah, dude, I mean, you have to go. You gotta go.
You're not going to the locker room just to pee your pants.
No. Well, I mean, I think if you go to the locker room, you don't have to pee your pants. Can you imagine just standing in front of a urinal, just like, and done. Excellent. No need to lower these trousers.
All right, TD, what do you got?
Oh, man. All right, here you go, Scott. You got to get this one to stay alive at this point. So I was a mathlete, and I made it to the state finals in the 8th grade with the Math Counts program. Is that true, or is that bunk man?
I'm going to go bunk this time.
Ooh, correct. Sorry, Scott. Hung up on so quickly.
We are already on to sudden death. So this happens every once in a while in 844-570-1360. Maybe we'll only need one sudden death question. But Fletch, you have a story to tell our caller contestant who waited patiently on the line. Caller, who are we speaking with this morning?
It's Carrie.
All right, Carrie. Carrie, buddy.
Foul-mouthed Carrie.
Foul-mouthed Carrie.
This guy's got a dirty mouth. He's got a dirty mouth. Yeah. That's right.
Maybe it's not.
Wait, it's not the same
It might
Carrie?
be a different Carrie.
It also could be a different Carrie playing for Foo Fighters tickets for an August 7th show.
Sorry, Carrie. He's like, what?
We got a pair of tickets. We got a pair of tickets for you if you can just answer this question correctly. Is what Fletch about to say true, or is it bunk man? Fletch, fire away.
Carrie, during that game last night, the Niners-Cowboys game, I was so inspired that I actually booked a flight to San Jose for the Niners-Seahawks game on December 10th. Is that true, or is that bunk man?
I'll say it's true.
Wow. We move on.
I was about to, but I didn't.
That's
gosh.
man.
Here we go.
Okay,
Go to the next caller. Caller from the 858. Who's on the line with us?
Scott.
Okay, Scott.
A different Scott. Same Scott, different Scott.
Same Scott
Different Scott.
Okay, different Scott.
All right.
Okay, different
so
Scott.
Scotts.
Okay. We have so many
Great
Scott.
Scott.
We have so many Scott listeners. He's just changing his voice. All right, Scott, you're the second Scott we've had on for That's Bunkman for Foo Fighters tickets. I have another story to tell you. I had an acting career, okay? It was middle school. It was a performance of Oliver Twist. I originally tried out for Oliver Twist. They made me a tree. Is that true, or is that bunk man?
I'm going to go with true.
Ooh, that is incorrect.
Wow.
How the hell are we doing
What's
this?
going on here? What's going on, Scott?
Everybody so far today.
We need a call. We cleared the lines here. Okay, we're going to break. We're going to come back, and we're going to find our winner for Foo Fighter tickets. So call now, and we'll come up with some kind of question for Foo Fighter tickets coming up next.
844-570-1360.
And guys, we had a pretty cool weekend this weekend. I had a bunch of my friends from college in town, and this is the first time I've seen a lot of them since a wedding that we all went to in the summer. And every single time I saw one of them for the first time this weekend, they all had the same reaction. And it was one of those, oh my God, Ben, why does your face look so different? It's because I've lost a bunch of weight. So I was a fatso over the summer. I got up to 278 pounds.
You really did. You overdid it.
Dude, 278. Next level fat guy stuff Tuesday worked.
You were a cheeseburger away from putting your hand in the dirt in a 3-point stance playing in the NFL, buddy.
And I'm not there anymore, which is all thanks to Wayne and Chloe over at sdfatloss.com. I can legitimately say that my life has changed. I picked up the phone, called 858-665-3211 for my free consultation with Miss Chloe. And if you're ready to make your life a little better, get on over to sdfatloss.com or make that call and get ready to start losing. The three of us, we can lose up to 2 pounds in a day sometimes 3. But for the most part, you are going to lose up to a pound a day. You could lose 20 to 30% of your entire body weight within just 2 months in the 60-day reduction phase. That summer was a rough one for me between that wedding. There's a lot of pictures there. There's a lot of pictures from me in Mexico, and I'm basically unrecognizable from where I was then. Get on over to sdfatloss.com. No pills, no injections, no crazy change to your diets. It's just food that you want to be eating, and we can all do this together like I've done with my boys, Rich and Travis, and we've all been losing. Now it's time for you to start losing too. sdfatloss.com or the number 858-665-3211.
All right. Foo Fighter tickets on the other side. 844-570-1360. We finished That's Bunkman next. Coming up, we have Foo Fighter tickets on the line. The most extended That's Bunkman we've ever played. Wow. 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 We've
Incredible.
never had this happen in the history of our show.
What the heck?
So we play game shows virtually every day, and usually they're for great tickets, and this is no different. We have Foo Fighters playing Petco Park August 7th. Tickets and information at livenation.com. We've been searching for a winner for the past 15 minutes. So we've asked, was it now 3 caller contestants? That's Bunkman questions. We still haven't got a winner. So Travis is up on the phone line, and TD, as it turns out.
I'm calling from a burner phone.
I did confirm that this is not Travis
Okay.
Dale.
He's calling from the 442, clearly an Oldsmobile fan, right, Travis?
I love it. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Was it Detroit?
That joke missed me.
The Cutlass 442 was a yeah.
I'm an Encinitas kid, actually. But
Right on, man. Well, happy to have you here, Travis. Okay, here's your first, well, I guess your only.
Yeah,
that's Bunk
sudden
Man.
death.
Yeah, when my
come on,
oldest,
namesake, give me some love here.
that's okay. Here we go. When my oldest son was just a year old, we drove to Denver to see a Bronco game, and he was a huge hit with the fans because he was dressed in all Bronco gear. And I ended up passing him to someone who then passed him to someone else. And after a few minutes, I didn't know where he was as he was getting passed through the stands. My wife, very unhappy. Was that true, or is it Bunk Man?
Oh man, it could be so possible too with you. I'm saying that's true.
You got yeah. I found them like 4 sections over.
No
Oh my
way.
gosh, it was so scary.
Wait, how did this happen? You went to a Broncos game, you passed your child to a stranger?
Literally, there was like this older woman next to us. Was
Only
like,
you.
yeah, I know. I was holding him, and this older woman's like, he looks so cute. And I'm like, here. And then she held him and then turns to someone else and passed him. And I was like, wait, where's he going? Where's he going? And it happened so quickly. I had to go up to the concourse and run down to find him.
Scenario.
Sarah was pissed.
What if you got the wrong baby back?
Possible.
Good
It's
point.
possible.
And this
Yeah.
was Caleb?
This is Tyler.
Oh, this is Tyler.
That's Tyler.
Okay.
Way-
I was
way
going to
more,
say.
Yeah,
way
yeah.
more sensitive
Yeah.
as Caleb.
Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah, Caleb's the bad one.
Mhm.
So
Right, yeah.
he's the one that
Naughty
Ben
boy.
hates.
Yeah. But
Naughty
congrats to Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You wanted some apparent tickets. Go see the Foo Fighters with the Hives and Alex G. Wednesday, August 7th at Petco Park. Tickets and info at livenation.com. But you're going, buddy. You're locked in. So hang on the line.
Man, live. What a day. I mean, we had this full Sunday slate of games. That was a blast talking about. The Aztecs are back up. They're going to be playing this weekend out in the Hawaiian Islands. We had Coach Hoke on. And also, we have Monday Night Football to look forward to. We got the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so we're going to have this right here on San Diego Sports 760. But before we run, Raiders favored by 2 at home. Which side do you like?
I mean, Jimmy G back. Love in the spotlight, hasn't done well. I'll go Raiders. I'll go Raiders.
Lean in Raiders.
I was going to say, love primetime, not great. Give me Raiders.
Okay.
Covering.
Give me Jordan Love.
Pick them.
I feel like the Green Bay Packers are this close to putting it all together. 2-2 football team going on the road. Josh McDaniels has been struggling.
I don't like my pick.
Forgot about Josh McDaniels.
I don't like my pick.
I'm leaning Packers.
I don't like my pick.
Are
but I
you
already said
locking
it.
in Raiders? Are you locking? Going once. Going twice.
Raiders.
He's staying Raiders. Wow. There it is. All right. Coming up tomorrow, we have Foo Fighters tickets all over again. We got those Howlow Scream tickets coming up.
Dr. David Chow.
Dr. David Chow joined the show, our injury expert. Who do we thank today, Ben?
The head coach of the Aztecs, Brady Hoke, who had a little pep in his step today.
Yeah, I liked
think he's excited about what's going on down on the Mesa in terms of practice over the bye week. But thank you both, Rich, Travis, Rich, TD. Thank you, texters, hangers, bangers. Screw you, Cowboy fans.
Oh my gosh, Jesus. All right, the herd is next. We'll see you tomorrow.